one round away from Aston Gaming Showcase Finals in Washington. They're gonna bury here to go on to face who?
That is the question. Who will they face? Scary Hours, Olympia, the defending champions, back in at the 8 seed against 3 seed Scary Hours. Can they go back-to-back here in the Caps Gaming Showcase, winning both Season 2 and Season 3? Or will Scary Hours dethrone the defending champions? Time will tell in this best-of-7 series. It is the finals of the Caps Gaming Showcase North American Division, presented to you by Leidos and powered by Leaguegaming.com. Good evening, hello, and welcome, every single buddy out there. We are all here, and I am happy to be here. Nice to have you there, and you two guys over there on that side of my camera. My name is Nick DeMeo, aka F5 Penguin. You can find me all over the web at F5 Penguin. I'm joined by none other than my esteemed colleagues here again, back across the pond for at least one of us. I'm here with Tegan Blair, it's King Lime, and Brandon Bigsby, B Major. And Tegan, I'm excited, man. It's finals action, baby. We are here.
Yeah, we've waited a long time for this, and it doesn't get any better than getting a reigning champion as Olympia comes in, trying to defend their title. But you know what? Scary Hours, I think, has a good opportunity to take that away, don't they, Brandon? As we have with us Brandon Bigsby, also known as B Major.
And Tegan, I think you said it best. We have waited so long to see who would be meeting up in the finals, and now we are just moments away from deciding the third champion in the Caps Gaming Showcase. And I think what makes it so fun, especially with tournaments like these, is that we started out on December 5th, 3 months in the making. These teams have grinded and clawed and scratched their way to get to this point, overcoming the adversity, having to beat some teams in some situations. And here they are, just 7 games between them, 4 wins between them and that illustrious championship. Can't wait to watch, call, and soak all of this in with the two of you.
Yeah, and of course, a long battle for them to get to the points of where they are right now. It's, like you said, a 3-month battle for these teams. Let's take a look at some of the brackets here, kind of walk us through how some of the teams got here and what things look like moving forward, right?
Yeah, absolutely. As we take a look at our bracket here, and on the left side, Olympia, Brandon, fighting through the number 1 seed, fighting through the number 2 seed in Prodigy on that left-hand side and fighting themselves to the end.
Yeah, Tegan, and what is so interesting about this is that Olympia, they have a chance to not just win a championship, but they get to do so. If they are to win tonight, they would have taken out the number 1, number 2, and number 3 seed. So not only would they be able to take home that championship, but to be able to knock out all of the top 3 seeds and top 3 teams in the standings in that run, that is something that is so rare and so unheard of. Olympia's been so battle-tested. We remember versus Prodigy, they were down 2-0, had that reverse sweep. Almost saw that same fate against Instinct, where they were up 2-0, and Instinct was close to pulling off a comeback, but they were able to find a way, as they seem to do so well, and turn things around. While for Scary Hours on the other end, beat a really good hidden potential team in the quarterfinals, and as we covered last week, were able to get past a former champion of this tournament in Season 1 in Isles GT to get here.
Yeah, and of course, we talked about getting here, right? The road to the finals is not always paved with glory. Sometimes it's paved, sadly, with loss. We have an update from our good friend behind the scenes, Dudley Do-Right, giving you a quick recap on how we got here, at least visually. Let's take a look.
Hello everyone, this is Dudley Do-Right 5 coming at you from behind the scenes to give you a quick Caps Gaming Showcase EUNNA recap. Let's get right into it, and first, let's go to the European teams from the European bracket. We had Granite Gaming, the 4th overall ranked team, taking on H-Reds, which was the number 1 overall ranked team. And what do you know, H-Reds, the 1st overall ranked team, was able to get a 3-0 sweep to move on to the final. Next, we go to the Frölunda HC hockey team, which was ranked 3rd overall, taking on Havu Gaming, which was ranked 2nd. And what do you know, the numbers don't lie. The 2nd ranked team defeated the 3rd ranked team as Havu Gaming completed a 3-0 sweep to move on to the final. And now we take a look at the final matchup. We have H-Reds, which is the 1st ranked team, taking on Havu Gaming, which is the 2nd ranked overall team. The battle of number 1 and number 2. Now we go on to the North American teams. We have ourselves an upset on this bracket here, as Olympia, noted as the 8th seed team, defeated the first seeded team in Instinct. They won the series 3-2 and 5, and they move on to the final. On the other side of the spectrum, we have Isles GT, which is ranked 4th overall, taking on Scary Hours, that was ranked 3rd overall. And Isles GT run came to an end as Scary Hours won that series in 4 and will move on to the final. So we take a look at the final matchup here for the North American bracket. We have the underdog Olympia 8th seed team taking on Scary Hours, the 3rd overall ranked team. So that's just a quick Caps Gaming Showcase update. My name is Deli Do 5. Time to go back behind the scenes and throw it back to the boys in the booth.
And we thank you for that, Dudley, for sure, as we get you set up for playoff hockey action coming up in just a couple of minutes. I'm going to do what I do. I'm going to step back. I'm going to let two of the GOATs take over here and get you through the rest of the pregame. I will see you on the other side of puck drop right now. Let's take a look at the matchup history. Lime, Major, it's on you guys. Let's do it.
Well, we pop over, mages. We do this one last time over on the North America side, and here we have the matchup history, which looks like it leads a bit towards Olympia, doesn't it?
It does, and this has been a really interesting matchup history between these two teams, and something to note, this does not include any games to where Scary Hours played as Vertigo. Remember, Scary Hours had that rebrand, changed a few things, so all of these games have been in the last about 3 months, since December 1st, so these two teams, they are plenty familiar with each other, and even more so, they're familiar with each other in recent time. Now, obviously, Olympia, they do have that advantage of 8 games won out of the 12 here for Olympia, but other games pretty close. It's not as if Scary Hours have not been able to compete with them. On the contrasting end, Scary Hours, their wins have been a little bit more on the blowout fashion of things, so it's going to be fun. We've kind of seen a little bit of everything between these two teams, and now we get a best of 7, first to win 4, so a lot of unpredictability in terms of what we're going to get here tonight based off of the way these two teams have matched up. And speaking of the notes here, Tegan, pretty interesting. We mentioned that 8-4, but it's fun because Olympia, 5 of those wins decided by 1 goal. So every 1-goal game, it's gone to Olympia, 3 of them in overtime. Like we said, just kind of goes to show you that we don't really know what we're going to get because of how oddly and how contrasting each game has been for these two teams, Tegan.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, as these guys do match up very good. As we take a look at the starting lineups here, Brandon, as we're going to take a look at Scary Hours first, and they are putting the top line out there as you'd expect.
Yeah, and we got to look at these guys last week against Isles GT, and it just felt like they were rolling from the top to the very bottom. Obviously, Blur, Joey, and Sidful, that great forward trio that I feel like almost have gone a little bit under the radar because they don't necessarily have those high-scoring games. But let me tell you, when these guys are on, when they are able to get into the zone, create that space with one another, they are so, so dangerous to go up against. And on the back end, Risto and K-Cut, we were talking a little bit before we kicked off the stream, how good those two have been, the way that Risto and K-Cut have really been able to shut things down and make things so much easier for everyone. Then you add that in with a really good goalie on the back end and Bar Down Beauty. Olympia are really going to have their work cut out for them against a deep Scary Hours lineup.
As we pop over to the other side in Olympia, who is going to be trying to defend the championship here in the Caps Gaming Showcase.
Yeah, the lineup that won it last year is back again this year. Gabze, McFlurry, and Gilly on the forward trio. We know how good these guys are when they are able to get things going. It just is so, so hard to stop them, especially Gilly on that right wing. That scoring ability, that scoring punch that he provides for this Olympia unit, so, so deadly. You know Scary Hours is going to look to key in on him. And then Grim and Odie on the back end. Grim, the staple at left D for so, so long. And we talked about when we covered this matchup between Olympia and Prodigy a couple weeks ago. Odie on right D coming in for Rux, the only player that kind of switched from this season to the next. And Odie has come in, filled in seamlessly, was a huge, huge reason that they even got past Prodigy to make that comeback, and cannot doubt that he was a big catalyst to that win versus Instinct last week as well. So 2 really good lineups, star-studded, a lot of talent on every single position. Always fun to watch these two match up. Expect another one tonight.
It is always fun, Brandon, and we talked about who's going to be in the games. Let's have a look at how close these teams really stack up, as we kind of had a word about that as well.
Yeah, the team's so close in just about every single category. You see the goals for only a 4-goal difference, goals against only a 6-goal difference, where you start to kind of see that discrepancy, and it's pretty interesting that it is this way, is the shot differential. Scary Hours, a 51 shot difference advantage over Olympia, but I think that's something that the stats might not tell you, so you have to remember what Olympia has gone through to get here. They beat Red Light, they beat Prodigy, they beat Instinct last week. They have had a gauntlet of a schedule to get past. Not saying the Scary Hours has not faced some tough teams themselves, but Olympia, the 3 teams we mentioned, those are 3 of the top teams in NHL esports on the North American side. All of those teams considered to be championship contenders. So the shot difference may be skewing towards Scary Hours a little bit, but it might be flattering them a little bit as well. Do not take it out of context. Olympia, they can put the puck on net and not allow their opposition to get over opportunities compared to them.
I couldn't agree more, Brandon. And my favorite matchup that's going to be coming up here, people may have thought we forgot about them, but we wanted to dive in on them as the goaltenders, as we have Reigns for Olympia and Bar Down Beauty for Scary Hours.
Goalies are people too, as they say, and the goaltending could really be what makes the big difference. It could be the difference maker between these two teams, with games that are so close, teams that are so star-studded, that 1 or 2 big save or so really could be that difference between winning 2-1 or losing 2-1, and both Bar Down Beauty and Reigns have that ability. Bar Down, a goalie that, in my personal opinion, a little bit underrated compared to some of the goaltenders that we talk about. He's at around that 80% save percentage in the playoffs that we like to kind of see, that most goalies thrive for, and he's been winning games as well, so expect him to pull a few big saves out of his hat, while for Reigns, just doing what Reigns does. Can you stand the Reigns if you are Scary Hours? That's going to be the question, because despite having a lot of shots on him, most in the playoffs by about 50, he has an 86 save percentage. That is unreal numbers for any goalie, but especially one that has played the toughest of competition throughout these playoffs. So expect Reigns to continue that form. Beating him gonna be probably key number 1 for Scary Hours to take this series, to take home that championship.
Well, Olympia is going to look to take the reins and stop Scary Hours from going bar down, as Reigns with 6 shutouts in playoffs, 5 shutouts on the other side for Bar Down Beauty. That is just phenomenal stuff in playoffs nonetheless.
And I think that is what's so good about that, is that it's one thing to do it in the regular season. It's another to do it with each and every week. Your season is on the line. And obviously Olympia, they've had a lot of games where their season have been on the line. They've played 3 5-game series, so they've seen all of their series outside of round 1 go the distance, and Reigns putting up the numbers that he has been, like we mentioned, against some of the opponents he has played, really says a lot. And then for Bar Down Beauty, the same thing. They've played Isles GT, they've played Hidden Potential. Those are 2 teams that are some of the better scoring sides that we have here in North American esports. So for him to have been playing as well as he has been as well, both of these goalies are going to be absolutely huge. I know, hopefully for them, they step up huge, because man, they're going to have some tough competition that they're going to be facing against.
Yeah, and Scary Hours coming into this matchup being first in shot differential with 55 to the difference of 4 for Olympia. Do you think that's going to make a difference with the goaltender so good of Reigns in the net for Olympia?
Well, Reigns, it's not like he's not used to taking a lot of shots during the playoffs. He's faced a total of 102 so far, so it's not like this is something that he is not used to. Excuse me, actually, it was a little bit higher than 187, got my notes mixed up, but 187 shots in the games that he has played. That is absolutely unreal. And then you combine that with the high save percentage that he has at 86%. This isn't something that he is not used to. He is okay with taking that high volume, and he has that ability to be able to step up, make those big saves, and not allow things when they start to kind of break down, they start to get high pressure. He doesn't let that overwhelm him. He's been in this situation plenty of times. He has been in a similar scenario to where he's played a team that likes to put the puck on net a lot, like Scary Hours can do when they choose to. I don't think that this is going to be too big an effect. Olympia, I think it's going to be business as usual for them, and Reigns especially on the back end between the pipes.
Now, what I always ask you, Brandon, is I'm going to give you one player from each team, and I'm not going to let you pick the goalies this time because I think that's an easy way out as we dove into them a little bit, and both of them godlike numbers on either side. So, what's going to be the tipping cap for either team in this best-of-7 series?
Man, it's so tough with a series like this, but considering that both of these teams are so good defensively, I'm going to look at the two leading scorers for both of these two sides to really step up and make that difference. And interestingly enough, the two right wingers, Sitful for Scary Hours, Gilly for Olympia. Both of these guys, they've been some of the best scorers in the NHL community, not just this year, but for years now. We know what they are capable of. We saw it from Sitful last week against the really tough team in ILSGT. Just seemed like he was getting goal after goal after goal. He had a contribution on 9 of the 10 points that Scary Hours scored through those games. So he's going to have to do it again here against a really tough opponent, especially considering on his side is going to be Grim. And while for Olympia, Gilly, he's going to have to step up again. We saw him do it against Prodigy. He has 16 goals on the season. That leads this Olympia team. We know that when he is on, he is so tough to stop. And he's had that tendency to score a big goal or two, whether it be that game winner in overtime or a goal late to tie things up, or even just a goal to bring them back into the momentum when things are going well. Just feels like whenever Olympia needs that play, Gilly is the one to provide that for them. So the two right wingers, the two goal scorers, Sitful and Gilly, you know they're going to be keys, and maybe they have a scuffed controller in their hands too, Tegan. I mean, we're going to get a look at these guys, but don't be shocked if they're maybe holding a scuffed gaming controller, as according to what I hear, our viewers might get a chance to get one themselves, aren't they?
Well, they just might, as we've got a little bit of a scuff promo. Brandon, take it away.
That is right. Tonight is your last chance to win a Scuff Gaming controller here at the Caps Gaming Showcase presented by Leidos and powered by Leaguegaming. All you need to do is type in exclamation point giveaway in our Twitch chat here at twitch.tv/capitals, and we will announce today's winner later in the show after game 3. So make sure you type in exclamation point giveaway, be here, be active, be present in the chat when it's time to announce it. You might hear your name called and you might get to win that last Scuff Gaming controller. Can't wrap this up without thanking our friends at Caps Gaming and our friends at Scuff Gaming for providing us the chance to give away something nice here in the finals for our viewers.
Oh, wouldn't it be nice to be holding on to one of those playing Chell? And wouldn't it be nice to be maybe holding on to one of those playing in the next threes tournament coming up here, Brandon?
Oh, and I guarantee you that plenty of them will be, as we are not done yet here at Caps Gaming. We might be wrapping things up here tonight on the Sixes side for NA, but that does not mean that the action will halt, because the Caps Gaming Showcase goes to the Caps Gaming Threes Challenge presented by McDonald's DMV. We will see who is the best threes team on both Xbox One and Xbox Series X and S. Each team will be able to compete for their chance to win a share of $1,500 on the prize pool per console over the course of a single weekend. And this tournament, once again, going to be capped out at 32 teams per console. So make sure you head over to www.rivalgames.com/tournaments in order to learn more and register your team for the console of your choice before it's too late. Remember, limited spots, still have to get on there soon. www.rivalgames.com/tournaments to learn more and register your team. And man, oh man, Tegan, I know you're a threes guy. That's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, I'm super excited to be a part of that and join you guys once again, as that will be a blast. But first, we have Scary Hours going against Olympia here in the Caps Gaming Showcase, Brandon, best of 7, and we are just about to dive in.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun. Obviously, we went from a best of 3, we went to a best of 5, now it's a best of 7, and it's two of the best teams in NA, a former champion versus a team trying to get to the mountaintop. A best of 7 between Olympia and Scary Hours. Start now. Nick, Tegan, I'll take it away, the two of the best in the business. Can't wait to hear you guys call this thing.
You take it away, I'll give it away, I'll take it away. It doesn't matter either way. Game 1 is upon us, the NA Finals. Caps Gaming Showcase at your doorstep right now on twitch.tv/capitals. The opening face-off underway here. And as we begin, Olympia in the gold jerseys going south on your screen in the purple pants. Going north on your screen, Scary Hours in those black neon retro pink and purple vibes. And play begins here. Best of 7. Slap shot comes in. Bounces off of the Olympia player. Gabsy looks to take that out. He will. Through the blue line. Met some traffic. Got through anyway. On the left side board, Odie controlling it well. He's an offensive D-man. Keeps it in the zone. Gives it off down low. Looking for a shot in. Deflected there. Gabsy turnaround. Trying to get one on net. Trickles out to the front. Quick counterattack now. 4 wide. Through the blue line. But that's met with resistance by Odie. And they'll come back out to center. Resetting from their end now. Scary Hours. Tipped off a stick in the zone. Getting there deep is Blur. You'll probably hear his name a couple of times here as he was a big champion, massive piece to get his team into the finals last week against Isles GT. Gonna get a shot in there from a centering feed. Can't get through. That wrist shot doesn't either.
Good job by K-Cut there for Scary Hours. Just look for him to step up. He's got 48 hits in the playoffs on that right-hand side playing right D, and he does it again, stepping up with a big hit on Grim.
8 gone so far, trying to flip that out. And they finally will. And deep now for Olympia. They're looking to clear. That's picked up by Risto. Left D now. For Sidful, trying to get a lane in there. Traffic in front. 3 bodies from Olympia, and they are clogging up the middle so far for their team. Good lead pass there. 3-on-1 if they hurry. Good back checking. Can't get that to Sidful. Gabsy finds it on his stick.
Look for Scary Hours to go to Sitful a lot of the time. You see him playing that high slot area. He loves to take that wrist shot, see if he can beat Reigns, which is going to be tough.
Gabsy right side up for Grim. Over to Blur, and Blur will just pick it cleanly. Try to bring it out of the zone. Met with a poke check there. And it'll come back out for K-Cut. K-Cut. Looking to break this thing out. He will. Risto now through the middle. Centerman now. Looking for a shot. He scores! Arctic Blur gets the first goal of the finals. It is 1-0 now. Scary Hours knocking down the door, and they get the first one.
Yeah, Nick, and you said it. We're probably going to hear Blur's name quite a few times. Then they go with the speed wrap to open the scoring. That's a 200 IQ play. They move the puck behind the net, catch the forward quickly on the backhand, wrap that around, and the backhand wraps have been very beneficial here since the patch in NHL 22.
Olympia looking to regroup now. As they look to try to get this one tied up before the end of the first period. Grim up the left side. That one doesn't get through. Now here comes K-Cut over for Sidful. Sidful sends it behind the net for Blur. Got one so far. Risto to Blur. That one's poked free. Grim will recover it from the right corner. And it's met by McFlurry. Now it's in deep for Olympia. Behind the net. About 1:20 left here. Odie shot in. That one got on. Rebound fell to the stick of Scary Hours.
Olympia loves to make moves from the point. As here comes Sitful as he tried to snipe one in there, Nick.
Grim now, final 10 seconds. Flipped in. They'll chop it along the boards. Comes out to the center, and that's going to do it for period number 1. So 1-0 here. Scary Hours leads game number 1.
It's a good start here for Scary Hours. Sitful contributing once again, going behind the net to Arctic Blur there, Brandon. What did you think of that period?
Yeah, and I think that, as you mentioned, Scary Hours just kind of doing what they like to do. They relied on that defense to create good offense. It turned into that chance that Blur was able to use for that wraparound to get the goal. And you mentioned Sitful Lime. This isn't new for him. We covered Scary Hours last week against Isles GT, and we kind of mentioned it earlier, but remember, contributed on 9 of the 10 goals that Scary Hours scored in that series. We know he's going to have an impact on this game. He already has there with that assist to Arctic Blur. So things not necessarily a feeling out period, a few opportunities for Scary Hours. They would want to capitalize, convert, and get the scoring started here in the finals of the Caps Gaming Showcase.
Yeah, we expect to see big things out of Olympia here as they are looking to defend a title as we go down to ice level with Nick.
Period number 2 underway here. And Scary Hours got that first one from Arctic Blur. Let's see what Olympia can do in period number 2. Sitful with a steal. He'll just carry it along through center, met with a couple of stick checks there. And it comes out over to McFlurry. Over to Gabsy, who takes a crushing hit there. Now McFlurry tried to get that one along, but it's brought back in by Scary Hours. Kept it onside. Good move there. Risto, slap shot, can't get through. Odie. Over to Gilly. Gilly slows down. Taking his time to reset. Smart to do for Olympia.
I thought the same as you there, Nick. I thought that was offside. Good job by Scary Hours to keep that on, and they're keeping the pressure on here as we get an icing, and that's exactly what they need to do. As soon Olympia can turn things around so quickly here, Nick. You let them get one goal, they'll build on that momentum. Scary Hours has to keep their foot in the pedal here in the finals.
K-cut now off the face-off. Skating with it. Looking for a lane. That shot gets in. Try to deflect it there. And that was Scary Joey looking to tip that on, but it just bounces off his skate, still in front. Now the left side for Gilly. Drops it up for Odie. Odie to Grim. Grim, center point. Shot in. That one got through. Lots of traffic. And it's Scary Joey finally alleviates the pressure. Sidful right side. Gonna shot that one in, but Gilly's poke check will break that free.
Great job by Olympia to try and build on this here as they like to go from the point, and here comes Grim.
Right side Grim from the circle. Spinning once, twice, looking to center. It falls to Gabsy's stick. Can't get that shot on net. McFlurry around it. Looking for a lane in. 10 gone so far in the second period.
Good poke check there by Olympia as they keep the pressure in Scary Hours zone. Scary Hours have been a bit on the back burner here as that puck's up the right-hand side. Sitful tries to get that down low. Odie moves that out for Olympia. Here he comes on the breakout. Odie through the middle. Nice moves as he carries that in with speed. Stops up and gains an entry. Odie on the left-hand side looks across. That puck goes all the way through and Sitful works that one up to Blur. Blur still holding on the backhand, drops that one down below Scary Hours net. Good forward check there is Gilly fighting K-Cut for it, but K-Cut comes out with it. K-Cut wrapping around his own zone, goes through the middle to Scary Joey now. Scary Joey over to Sitful, good drop to Risto. Risto comes down behind the net, Blur fires, and that's a great save there by Reigns. He's made a lot of those in this playoffs, hasn't he, Brandon?
Yeah, no shock. We talked about how Reigns would be huge. That 86 save percentage, despite the amount of shots he's taken, another big save there for Olympia.
K-Cut walking in, tries to throw that one backhand in the corner. Odie with a good pick off, and here goes McFlurry through the middle. Left-hand side to Gilly. Gilly drops that one down low, pinned against the boards. Is going to be Sitful helping out his defense and doing a great job. Up to Scary Joey on the right-hand side. Walks in with an easy entry and carries it down the right boards. Wraps that one all the way back to the point to Risto. Fires! It doesn't get through to the net as it's off the skate and wide. Here's K-Cut on the hash marks. Drops it down to Sitful in front of Scary Joey, and what a save by Reigns as he continues to make great saves here, Brandon.
And we said it before in the open. Can you stand the rate of Scary Hours on the attack?
2-1 the other way as that one ends up off of McFlurry skate, and Olympia just tries to slow one down as Brandon speeds through that sentence. Good dumping. There's 30 seconds to go here in the second period. It's going to be Scary Hours who comes up with that, wraps it around to K-Cut. K-Cut over to Risto. Risto works his way up, looks over to the right-hand side. Gabsay picks that off. He's off to the races. Not much time. Looks for a slap shot, but just ran out of time in the dying seconds there, Brandon. And that takes us to the second intermission.
And close to being able to capitalize on that nice caused takeaway there in the neutral zone. Unfortunately, Scary Hours with a nice defensive play of their own to get back, avoid even letting Olympia get that shot on net, and then making it to the second period, the end of the second period with that 1-0 lead. But things kind of slowing down now after that first. We saw a little bit of action to start out, and it feels like things starting to settle down a little bit. But I think the story, a couple of big saves from Reigns there in the second period. You saw that big save that he made earlier in the middle of the second period that we mentioned, then 2 big saves where he slid across from one post to the other to grab that one. So we're seeing why he is as good as he is. Those numbers we talked about, we are kind of seeing the reason he has those. Now he just has to hope that his team up front of Olympia can get one on the board and tie this thing up.
We get down to period number 3 in the Caps Gaming Showcase, presented by Leidos, powered by Leaguegaming. Scary Hours against Olympia, where Scary Hours leading 1-0 here in period 3, where the series is tied 0-0. Olympia coming out of their zone in these gorgeous yellow jersey. There's Grim. Grim in the neutral zone, left-hand side, good poke check as the defense stands up as Risto again. Left-hand side to Blur, good pass into the middle to Joey. Joey looking for Sitful in the high slot once again, but great job by Olympia to read that play. Risto takes that one up the left-hand side to Blur. Blur, good pass through the middle to Scary Joey. He wraps that one around to Sitful. Sitful bumped off of the puck. Good puck support is Blur as he works that one down to Scary Joey, and him and Sitful play catch in the corner. Sitful tried to get that one down, though. Great read there by Odie, and the defense of Olympia continues to be great, Brandon.
Yeah, the defense of Olympia has been great. They just have to hope they can break through and get one open. Good defense is what can catalyze good offense. We'll see if they can break through, but Scary Hour is so good on the counterattack right now.
Great shot there by Blur as he went opposite side, and Reigns was able to squeeze that under his blocker.
And I think that's what the key is for Reigns, what makes him so good. It just feels like he knows what a forward is going to do before he even does it. He read that perfectly and was in perfect position to make that save.
Between the legs play by Sitful as he tried to open up his own space to the net. K-cut. Curls at the point and walks it down to the hash marks, looking for a cut play in front. Sitful was open, but he was smothered there in front by Grim, and a great team effort between him and Reigns to stop that puck.
Yeah, Tegan, and there hasn't been a high quantity of opportunities, but it feels like when Scary Hours does get that shot on, it's pretty high danger. Reigns has had to be on top so far. He has, but it's a close chance.
As there is a great play again by Scary Hours, and they're just hemming Olympia in their own zone right now, aren't they?
Yeah, they're really getting that possession going, and this is when Scary Hours are at their best, when they're able to really get into the offensive zone, control that possession, and cycle things around. It opens up that space to get that quality opportunity. We'll see if they can break it open.
Risto fired that one on, but McFlurry with a good block. Bardown sends that one to the corner. Gille behind the net to Gabs. Gabs, good pin on the boards was K-cut, but there's going to be a call here, Brandon.
Yeah, so now we'll see our first special teams opportunity in Olympia on the power play, and really at the perfect time. Scary Hours had some momentum. Now they get in their offensive zone and might get something going here on what's a deadly power play from Olympia to tie this up.
So K-cut is going to go sit for a couple as Olympia looks to get into the zone, and they do with a step. McFlurry over to Gabs, and it was loose, but Arctic Blur swallows that up and throws it all the way down. And that's going to kill off about a minute of this power play here in the third period. 10 minutes to go, a minute left on the power play for Olympia. Gilly back to the point to Odie. Odie, Grim, and over, and what a save by Bardown. Arctic Blur gets that one up the ice. He doesn't want to take any chances. Just throws that down with 20 seconds left in the power play for Olympia. Olympia breaks that puck out with speed. It's going to be Grim trying to make anything happen here. As that one's poked off, back to Odie, over to Gilly. That one's blocked. And Risto hits K-cut fresh out of the box. K-cut looking back door, but a great defensive play by Grim as he stops that puck from getting through. Grim, nice move as he walks around Sitful, but he's hit hard by K-cut. That's why he leads playoffs in hits so far this season. Scary Joey over to Sitful on the right-hand side. Good job by Gabse to get that one back. Risto, here's K-cut now. K-cut moves that one up to Scary Joey. Scary Joey, nice move, comes in backhand. Arctic Blur had a chance at a second rebound, but it's swallowed up again by Reigns.
And Joey tried to put it on spin cycle right there, just not enough room to get a shot off clean on range, but Scary Hours have to feel good with the way this period has gone. They had some attack earlier, got a little bit of trouble on that penalty, but were able to kill it off. Olympia, not really a lot of opportunities on that power play, and then at the end, you even saw great defense leading to that great offense that we talk about. Scary Hours able to do that so well, getting a chance or two right after that. It feels like they just are really in control of this game with the way they're playing.
Only 3 shots for the defending champs here in Olympia in 3 periods. That's not something that they like to see to start things off, Brandon. They're going to look to build on that.
Yeah, and we know with Olympia, they're one of those teams that just feels like they are always able to find a way. Things maybe not going according to plan, not the highest attacking that you would see from them typically, but they're just one of those teams that feels like when they get down, they just find a way to dig deep, get that one big play, that one goal to get them back into this game. So still some time for them, only a 1-goal deficit. Scary Hour is going to have to keep doing what they're doing to try to avoid that turn from the defending champs.
It only takes one quick one to change the game in a 1-0 game here as we start off 5 minutes to go in the 3rd period in game 1 of this best of 7 here at the Caps Gaming Showcase final. That one's going to be poked off and Gilly's hit hard. Grim wraps out around to his partner Odie and Odie works it up the left-hand boards. Odie, nice moves as he gains entry. Poked off his stick and it's back out as Odie swallows it back up in the defensive zone, curls around and works up the middle. Odie has a poke checked off his stick. It's going to be back to Grim, and Scary Hours doesn't mind this as Olympia looks to sauce that one in. First onto the puck. Good hustle, but couldn't get his stick back held was Gilly, and Scary Hours is just going to work the puck out. Left-hand side, Arctic Blur gets that around. Scary Joey, right-hand side to Sitful. Sitful, back down low to Blur. They put that back to Risto. Risto, back to Sitful. Sitful walks in, he shoots, he scores!
And there goes that man again. We talked about him in the open. We talked about him a few times in this game, and he shows up big to potentially put the icing on the cake in game 1 for Scary Hours. Sitful with a snipe and a goal right there. We were talking about how Olympia just needed one. Well, Scary Hours saying just wait and see what happens next. And on the stick of Sitful, they go up 2-0 and might have just iced this game 1 victory for themselves.
That is going to be Sitful contributing on 11 of 12 of Scary Hours' last 12 goals. Very, very impressive stat for Sitful. As Risto works that one up the left-hand side for Scary Hours. Down low, he's got Blur, who is speeding into the zone. He just ties that one up behind the net. Olympia trying to get that one out is McFlurry. McFlurry sends that one up the sidewall. It's going to be poked off by Scary Joey. He just takes it back into his own zone up the left-hand side to Blur. Grim gets that one back behind his goal line, throws that one up the backside of Blur, but Gilly moves it ahead, and that's offside with 9 seconds to go. But I think it's safe to say that Scary Hours is going to take this one away.
You know, we often use that phrase, we've seen crazier things happen, but this would be pretty high on the list for Olympia to come back in this one. A great game from Scary Hours overall. A well-deserved game 1 victory for them to get things started off on the right note.
Here's K-Cut. He's bumped in the corner. And that does it for game number 1 in this best of 7 series here at the Caps Gaming Showcase Finals, Brandon. It is going to be Scary Hours taking game number 1.
And we kind of talked about it, but a well-deserved result for Scary Hours. And I think the story for them, the defensive efforts, and a few big saves from Bar Down as well, as he gets the shutout, number 6 for him in this playoff run. And man, oh man, Olympia, not a terrible game, but just felt like they were never able to just get that one really good look. Only 3 shots on net, 438 time on attack. Usually that's enough to get you a few opportunities, but that shot differential that we were talking about maybe not being as big as what we would think kind of showed itself a little bit in this game 1, Tegan.
Yeah, it definitely did. And a great job by Bar Down Beauty to come in and take himself away with a shutout to start things off.
Yeah, and I think that's what's so big about that is obviously you look at the stats and only 3 shots for Olympia, but some of the shots that they did have, they were not easy saves for a bar down. You have to remember, Scary Hours, it only took them 1 goal for about the first 57 minutes of this game, so Olympia, with one of those 3 shots, could have very well have tied this thing up. A bar down had to be ready, had to be in position. Easy to kind of be a little bit more relaxed and get caught off guard when you don't have many shots on net. Bar down not allowing that to happen, and once again, credit to Scary Hours for not letting many shots and many opportunities go over to him. So a great effort from Scary Hours. You know that they're going to hope to repeat that here in game 2.
Yeah, it was great stuff by Bar Down Beauty. Like you said, it's only 3 shots, but they were 3 huge saves. I'm not sure if he has extra fingers or maybe extra paddles on possibly a scuff controller, but if you press exclamation point giveaway, you can too, can't you, Brandon?
That's right. Tonight is the last chance for all of our viewers here to win a Scuff Gaming controller here at Caps Gaming and the Caps Gaming Showcase presented by Leidos and powered by Leaguegaming. All you need to do, as Tegan mentioned, type in exclamation point giveaway here in our Twitch chat right here at twitch.tv/capitals to get a chance to win yourself a nice Scuff Gaming controller like the one you see on your screen. We will announce the winner after game 3, so make sure you are here, you are active, so if your name is called, you can claim it. And once again, exclamation point giveaway to give yourself a chance to win one of these nice Scuff Gaming controllers, courtesy of Caps Gaming and our friends over at Scuff Gaming.
Who doesn't want a Scuff controller from none other than Caps Gaming and Scuff Gaming, Brandon? That is such an amazing prize to get your hands on. So chat, everybody in there, exclamation point giveaway to get your hands on that. And Brandon, what a first game we had from Scary Hours, as they really put everything out there to the defending champs in Olympia.
Yeah, it just felt like they had everything put together in that game 1. Obviously, this is a team with a lot of experience. They've played together for a good bit. They have been in those championship situations. They know what it takes to win at this level in order to get the job done and complete the task to win that championship. But to go out and not make a statement necessarily, but to play the way they did in that game 1, start out the way they did in game 1, really stifling Olympia of really any true offensive momentum. That good defense led to that good offense, and then as the game got along, you even felt that the offense was starting to get a little bit better. You saw the cycle starting to generate a little bit more, a few opportunities from some big saves Reigns made that kind of denied a couple of goals, and then right at the end of that third period with about 3 to go, Sidful was able to put one past them to really give them that extra cushion to see this thing through. But can't ask for a much better game 1 for Scary Hours. Really just everything clicking, everything working, and executing it to a really high level, which against a team like Olympia, you gotta do each and every time.
And how about Sitful contributing on 11 of 12 of Scary Hours goals? At what point do you just cover Sit?
I mean, it's easy to say that, but at the same time, when you start to focus a little bit more on Sidful, then you let the captain of this Scary Hours team and Scary Joey get a little bit open, and even though he might not have the eye-popping numbers, Joey is a guy that's been here for a long time. He has a really high IQ. He's one of the best two-way centers in all of NA, and when you say two-way, that includes offense. He can put the puck in the net and create some space for his fellow forwards as well, so you can focus on Sidful a little bit if you want to, but it's going to be scary times if you're going up against Scary Hours and then you let Joey and Blur get going as well. So I think this is one of those things of just really having to make sure that you have that little bit of extra positioning, give yourself that little advantage against a guy like Sidful, knowing how dangerous he is with the puck on his stick. So can't necessarily drive all of your focus to him, but definitely have to lock things in a little bit more. And it's even more important on that left side of Olympia where Sidful will be at that right wing for Scary Hours.
Reigns, even though he had 2 goals go by him, he was still fantastic and continues to be. Olympia really likes to use their defense in the offensive zone. Scary Hours took that away from them there in game number 1. What do you expect to see out of Olympia to adjust here in game number 2?
Well, it's one of those things. Olympia, they've been in this situation before, as we've mentioned a few times, and something that they often are able to do so well is adjust. They find a way when things aren't working. They'll kind of tweak some of the things that they do, especially offensively, to get some more chances for themselves, whether it be just switching things up in the zone, putting more shots on net, or even it's in the way that they break out to get in the zone entries. And I think the biggest issue we kind of touched on a little bit, over 4 minutes and 30 seconds of time on attack, that's usually enough to get you about 9 to 10 shots, but only 3 shots on net. So I think the big thing for Olympia is how do you create that space to get that look? Does it come down to maybe that extra pass, the positioning routine that you're in, or do you get to a point where you just put that puck on net and maybe get a player or two in position where you can get a rebound, you can get a tip? We've seen the kind of randomness of the puck, the RNG as some may call it, kind of sway the way a game goes. It'll be interesting to see if Olympia just tries to adjust on what they are already doing, or if they maybe switch up what they do in the way that they're getting opportunities and just trying to get some shots on net and getting players in the right position to capitalize on a second chance.
And maybe just shooting, right, Brandon? As we saw Sitful get that shot on, as that one ended up trickling through the goaltender. We've seen a lot of shots recently in esports go off the back of the net, or maybe go through a goaltender quite easy. So, take your chance, shoot your shot. You want to get that puck in the back of the net if you're Olympia.
Yeah, that might be coach speech, but Wayne Gretzky said it best. He missed 100% of the shots that you don't take. And unfortunately for Olympia, obviously you have to credit Scary Hours for the job they did defensively to kind of stifle Olympia's chances. But 3 shots on net is not going to cut it, unfortunately, for them in this finals. They're going to have to find a way to open some things up or just get some shots on net to give yourself that chance at least to get something in. You never know what can happen. We saw Scary Hours take that to their advantage last week against ILSGT. They put some shots on net. They had a fortunate bounce or two or had a guy in position to get that second chance or even a deflection in front of the net. It worked out for them. So Olympia might have to change the approach a little bit if Scary Hours continues to play the way that they have defensively, because zone entry has not been the problem. It's been what they can do once they get into the zone. So it'll be fun to watch. Olympia, one of the best at adapting. We'll see how they do so here in this game 2, down 1-0 in the series.
As we drop it down to ice level here, and I'm excited to get through to game number 2 here in this best of 7 series. Scary Hours leading game 1 here, and we'll dive into game number 2. Face off is going to be won there by Olympia. Here's K-Cut between the legs. And he has it stripped away by Grim. Grim goes through the middle. And that one is going to be offside with 18:55 to go here in the first period. Face off in the neutral zone here as we get a stoppage early. Grim, left-hand side, gets that one in through Gilly. Blur, good job by him, trying to move that one ahead to Sitful. Sitful walks all the way through and over to Blur, and they score!
Deja vu from game 1. Blur starts out the scoring, and what a play there from Scary Hours. They're so good in being able to all of a sudden use that counterattack to their advantage to get an opportunity for themselves. They did it right there, and once again, they start out with that 1-0 lead, Tegan.
That's a good start by Scary Hours, isn't it, Brandon? As Blur gets that one over through Scary Joey to K-Cut. K-Cut fires that one on, and a good save by Reigns. Grim picks up the rebound and works it out here for Olympia. Olympia dumps that puck in. K-Cut picks it up in the right corner. K-Cut working out on the breakout here for Scary Hours. Over on the left-hand side to Blur. Blur wraps it around to Sitful, and Sitful comes out into the middle to Blur. Looking back door, but a good pick-off by Grim. And here goes Olympia on the breakout. McFlurry over to Odie, who drops to Gilly. Gilly wraps that around behind the net. Good interception by Scary Joey, who definitely likes to be offensive, but you said it, Brandon. He plays very defensive as well, doesn't he?
And so good to have a center like that. It's one thing to have a defensive center, but it's another to have a center that is elite on both the offensive and defensive end. He controls those defensive responsibilities with still being able to help his team on the attack. It's so valuable for the Scary Hours squad.
There's a big shot by Odie, as we know Olympia likes to work through their defense in the offensive zone. Odie up the wing. As that one gets tossed over to McFlurry, and McFlurry works his way in through the neutral zone, but Olympia's offside. Scary Joey down the left-hand wall. Nice move as he gets entry. Opens up a bit of space. Gets that puck over to Sitful. Sitful along the hash marks. Down to Blur. Looks out front for Scary Joey. Good pick off by McFlurry. As both centers playing very deep to help out their defense there, Brandon.
And you need it against teams that are so talented on the offensive end and can create opportunities for themselves. That was a big emphasis for both of these two sides. They're executing on it so far in these 2 games.
K-Cut slowing things down, maybe waiting for his forwards to get a little bit of stamina. Here comes Blur. He's tripped up, and we're going to see a power play here for Scary Hours.
And penalties, not much of a story in game one. There was only one, and that was Olympia's power play that they were not able to convert on. But now, Scary Hours get their first power play of the series, and there's a chance for them to really take control of this thing and go up 2-0.
K-Cut. He dances around the blue line, still holding on to it, walks into the circle, looking for a cut play. That one's picked off and put to the corner, but a good job by Sitful to hold it in. Sitful looking back for K-Cut. That one's picked off by Gabs, but Sitful picks it right back up. Back to Risto. Risto goes over to his partner, K-Cut. K-Cut, Risto looking over for Blur, but that one's picked off by Odie. And Odie, the man, goes down the wing with speed. And a good job killing this off is, wow, Bardown sliding way out of his crease to make that save, Brandon.
Yeah, we know how Bardown has that ability. He had to get a little bit athletic and slide from one spot to the other to make that one. But hey, if it works, Tegan, it works. And now Scary Hours on the other end trying to get this back to nothing.
Oh, what a save by Reigns as he flashes the leather there, Brandon, on a good shot from Risto from the point.
Yeah, and a big thing with Scary Hours is that they might not use the defense on the offensive end in terms of scoring as much as Olympia do, but Risto and K-Cut, they have their fair share of points, both with 13 on the nose for each of them, so they can contribute on that end as well when they get the chance.
Another great save by Reigns as he robs Sitful in the slot. Nody works the puck out for Olympia. Over on the left-hand side to Gilly. Risto takes that one away, gets it over to K-Cut, puts him in a bit of a tough position in the left-hand corner. As Gilly gets that back to Odie, back to Gilly, in front of McFlurry, and that one's poked away by Scary Joey. Here's Grim. Grim. Good pass over to the right-hand side to Gabze, and he scores!
And that is exactly what the doctor ordered for Olympia. It couldn't have come at a bigger or better time when not only Scary Hours won that first game and seemed to control the play, but it looked like they were on track to do it again here in game two. That second goal could have been the big one for Scary Hours to really get things going for themselves, but as Olympia do so well, they found a way, get on the board, and it's on the stick of Gabze to tie this thing up one apiece.
So it's a 1-1 hockey game here in the first period, a couple minutes to go, and Olympia gets on the board for the first time in the series here in game number 2 in the Caps Gaming Showcase Final. Scary Joey over to Risto. Risto tries to L-skate into the zone, picks the puck back up. Has a little bit of space and goes over to K-Cut. K-Cut spins, looking backdoor, nobody home. Here comes Gabs, the goal scorer for Olympia, out front to McFlurry, picked off by K-Cut. And Scary Hours is going to try and build on something with 6 seconds to go. Sitful. Good puck moving. That one goes on the stick of Scary Joey, and it's going to be held on by Reigns.
And this is going to be interesting now to see how Scary Hours responds. First time that Olympia was able to get on the board. Now the momentum kind of in their favor, so maybe not a lot of time to do anything here at the end of this first period, but it's going to be a story to look out here going into the second. Scary Hours with that momentum and Olympia finally able to find a way to get that thing back, score, put themselves on the board, and in a situation where this could be anyone's game, Tegan.
It could be anyone's game now, as Olympia has to be feeling good here, Brandon, about getting themselves on the board early in game number 2 as they were shut out in game number 1.
Yeah, and I think personally that's a really big goal. Obviously, Olympia, one of these teams, if we said a few times, they've kind of been in every situation with as good as they are. They've had that adversity, know how to come back from that adversity. But the thing is, with Scary Hours already up 1-0 in the series, winning game 1 in a 2-0 shutout, then they go into game 2, get an early goal to go up 1-0. If they go and score again to make it 2-0, that could really have swayed things in their way to a point to where it was going to be really hard for Olympia to find a way to get back into this thing. So that was a huge goal for them to score, to get this thing tied up, get some momentum going for themselves really for the first time in this series. And now it's a clean slate. You have 40 minutes ahead and just have to focus on the task at hand.
It's a different series. If Scary Hours scores that second goal, Brandon, you're absolutely right. And we're back with period number 2 here at the Caps Gaming Showcase Finals North America. Olympia in yellow, Scary Hours in black. We are presented by Leidos and powered by Leaguegaming as the puck is going to be brought in. McFlurry in the middle, looking to go backhand, but a great job by Scary Joey to take that puck away. K-Cut pinching up, gets it over to Sitful. Sitful looking for Blur, trying to score that repeat goal from period number 1. Gabs turns that one over to K-Cut, and K-Cut letting his forwards get stamina. Puck down the right-hand boards, goes too far, and it's icing with 16 to go.
You know, Tegan, I know we have talked about Scary Joey and the job that he does defensively, but we saw it again on display right there. Remember that defensive play denying McFlurry of what could have been a goal. Looked like there was a little bit room on the left side, his right, for him to put that in. A big play from Scary Joey, not even allowing him to get that shot on net. If Scary Hours is able to come back and win this game, remember that play, because that was a huge one to deny Olympia a chance to really take this lead.
Grim crossing with Odie, looking for a cut pass. Sitful picks that one off, but a good job by Gabs to get it to McFlurry quickly. McFlurry walking in, holding it on the forehand, and goes to the corner. Goes back to the point to Grim. Grim coming in, looking for the cutback door, but a great job by Scary Joey, as he's playing a great defensive role, as he just took a penalty there, but a great job to stop a goal in front, Brandon.
Yeah, that's the second time and he has stopped that goal in front. It's almost like he's hearing this. He's like, hey, they talked about some defensive prowess. Let me give a few examples of why I am able to do that. It's blurred in the box, so they'll be able to keep him out there, which is so big for the Scary Hours team. But now Olympia gonna try to put this one in, get up 2-1. They have some momentum going for themselves. A big power play here to try to really seize that.
As I gotta apologize to Scary Joey, he is still out on the ice. It is going to be Blur who's gonna sit for 2, and you're right, that is very beneficial. As Odie tried to get that one back to his partner, but he ends up dumping it down for Scary Hours, and that helps Scary Hours out massively as Grim comes out and gets that one over to Gabs. Gabs slowing things down. Back to Odie as we talk about how much Olympia loves to use Odie and Grim. Odie out front, and a great shot by Gabs is robbed by Bar Down Beauty. Grim looking in front, McFlurry over to Gabs. Gabs in the right-hand corner, goes back to Grim. Is Olympia cooking up now? Pinned on the right-hand side by Sitful. They get it down low. McFlurry below the goal line. Looks for an option, goes back to Odie. Odie curls, goes back to Gilly in the corner. Gilly comes across the circle and goes back to Grim. Grim down low to Gabs to McFlurry. McFlurry looks across, but a toe save by Bar Down Beauty as the pass was stopped from going across the front of the net there. As K-Cut out front to Sitful. Good job by Odie. As the defense for Olympia, very nice here, Brent.
Yeah, and that's what they needed, and it's been able to get themselves some offensive zone time as well. That might have been the best generated in terms of sustaining that zone time that we saw there on that power play. It just feels like the more this goes on, the more they're starting to feel themselves, Tegan.
Blur, left-hand side to Scary Joey, doesn't like what he sees. He's going to take that one back to K-Cut and reset in their own zone with 7 minutes to go in the second period. K-Cut over to Blur. Blur trying to squeeze through. He does, but it's poked off his stick by one of the many twigs that was down there. Here's Blur looking for that backhand rebound again, but that one's going to be eaten up there by Reigns.
Yeah, we've seen him on that a few times try to go for that wraparound. He scored on it for the first goal in game 1. It worked out. This time, Reigns right where he needed to be, didn't allow that one to sneak past him.
Face off is won by Olympia, and Grim works it out for... And that one's picked off right away as I couldn't even finish my sentence, but Grim takes it right back as amazing stuff from this D pair of Odie and Grim. Odie dumps that one in, looking for a chase. And first onto the puck is McFlurry, but he's bumped. We're going to get a power play here for Scary Hours.
And this could be big for Scary Hours. It felt like Olympia was starting to get things going, as we had mentioned a few times. Now Scary Hours a chance to take that momentum back, as it was kind of starting to slip away from him. 0 for 1 on the power play in this game, 0 for 1 in the last one. None in this series at all. So Scary Hours hoping to get the first special teams goal of the series.
Sitful drops that one for K-Cut. He waits up on the hash marks. Back to the point. Risto shoots. He scores as he goes bar down on Reigns.
And Risto has that underrated ability. He has 4 goals in the playoffs, make it 5 right there to give Scary Hours the lead. And it was a great play from Scary Hours and a big goal for them to get back on track and get back on top here in this game.
As Risto sniping puts that one in from the point with under 4 minutes to go in the second period, putting Scary Hours back on top here in game number 2. K-Cut has it poked off his stick, and here goes Sitful through the neutral zone. He takes it back, tries to find Blur, but a good interception by McFlurry, who goes to Gabs. K-Cut misses his check in the right-hand side, and the puck finds its way to the point to Grim. Shot on block by Scary Joey. As we'll talk a little bit about him in the intermission, as he has been just fantastic in these first 2 games on the defensive side for Scary Hours. Puck brought out by Olympia, dumped into the left-hand corner. That puck is going to be tied up and thrown to McFlurry. McFlurry back to Odie, over to Grimm. Only 10 seconds to go. Grimm has Odie high in the slot, but he waits and looks out front, but it makes its way to Odie. Odie cuts, looks back door, but couldn't thread the needle. As Bardown makes one last glove save, and we'll carry on to period number 3. But Brandon, how about Scary Joey and how good he's been for Scary Hours in the defensive zone?
Yeah, Tegan, and you know, it's so fun to watch him play because, and you kind of see this in our chat as players and viewers are talking about some of the players and teams here are playing tonight, but Scary Joey, one of the best, if not arguably the best two-way center, as we've talked about, in all of North American NHL esports. I mean, he just has that Patrice Bergeron-esque ability to make such a difference in both ends. He's able to contribute offensively, get aggressive, and make plays on that end, but he doesn't let that take away from his defensive abilities. He knows where he needs to be. He has that ability to come in, create takeaways for his team, and create on the counterattack right back as well. So when you have somebody that is that good at doing that and being able to contribute both on and off of the offensive end, it means so much. And he honestly, at least through the first 5 periods, is making a case to maybe be a finals MVP here in this series. A great job from him, and Scary Hours up 2-1 going into third. That's a big reason why.
Period number 3, game number 2 at the Caps Gaming Showcase, presented by Leidos, powered by Leaguegaming. Scary Hours already leading this best-of-7 series 1-0. And the defending champs, Olympia, looking to come back and tie that one up. But Blur gets that one ahead to Scary Joey. Scary Joey comes down, trying to force that one through. But it's going to be held on by Reigns, as he had to be sharp.
Yeah, they're going to keep needing Reigns to be sharp, down 2-1. Olympia trying to find that tying goal once again, as they did earlier, and Reigns playing the way he has been. You have to feel good with who's behind you here if you're Olympia.
Good face-off win in the defensive zone by Olympia. Grimm trying to force that one up the wall to Gabs. Odie's going to reset it, though. And here goes Olympia. They can't get that one past Sipful. Sipful hitting blurs. We've said that a lot this series. We'll say it a lot more. Sipful in the right-hand side. Poked off was Grimm, but good puck support by Scary Joey. Back down low. Good cut play. He fires, and a great glove save by Reigns. Here's Sitful in the neutral zone, slowing things down as he walks it into the zone, but he's met by one too many Olympia players, and Grimm's going to work it out in the breakout. Grimm, over to Odie. Up ahead to McFlurry. McFlurry comes in. He's bumped off of the puck, and Sitful resets that and slows it down, and Scary Hours doesn't mind this slow game, do they?
Yeah, they have the lead in time starting to become their friend the more this thing goes on. They almost were able to double that lead to 3-1, but Reigns denying them. Now Olympia going to have to try to get this thing going offensively and get back to what they were doing early on in the second period.
There was Risto snipe, and he got that 2-1 lead extended for Scary Hours as that one squeezes right past Bar down, as he had to be sharp there. There's not much action for him in the third period. Risto trying to sauce that one through the middle. It's going to be picked up and pulled offside, with 10:43 to go in the third period.
And you know, Tegan, I kind of alluded to it a little bit earlier, but it feels like we're watching a different Scary Hours in Olympia compared to what we saw in about the first 10 to 15 minutes of that second period. It feels like ever since that power play goal from Risto, it has been all Scary Hours here in this game. They have just done such a good job at not letting Olympia gather really any momentum, but unfortunately, they kind of let him get back into this as another power play chance here for the purple and gold.
Just as you say that, Brandon, we're going to see Risto head to the box. Scary Joey is, it's going to be Sitful taking that defensive position. He's been very good at it so far in the series. He's had to do it a couple times. As Odie walks that puck in, and we see a great poke by Sitful. It's going to be out, and Grimm turns around the other way. Odie trying to do it himself, as we've seen it before. But that one's going to be dumped all the way down. 1 minute left on the power play for Olympia. They need a goal. They only have 8 minutes to do it here in the third period. Good job by Blur there to stop Odie from coming in, and he carries it down the left-hand side, rings it around behind the net, just waiting for his player to get out of the box. Gabs drops to himself and goes over to Odie on the breakout. Odie carries that one in, but offside on the left-hand side was Gilly.
And this has been another stellar penalty kill for Scary Hours, just not allowing Olympia to really get any good looks on bar down. You saw the one time they were able to establish that zone. Sidful at that defensive spot at right wing for Risto, comes in, makes a poke, and ever since then, Olympia just was not able to get into the zone. So the penalty kill, a developing story here for Scary Hours, how well they have been able to execute that against an Olympia team that has had a lot of success on the power play, 9 for 27 coming into the series.
As they get another kill. As Grim walks around the check of Sitful, but K-Cut trying to step up. Puck loose in front is picked up by Sitful, who gets it up to Scary Joey. Scary Joey drops that one down to Blur. Blur on the half wall, back to Risto, fired on, and that hits Scary Joey in the leg. And Odie picks that one up and works it out. Over to Grim. Grim comes over the line, picked off by Sitful. Blur has Sitful ahead. Sitful waits up, shoots, and a great save by Reigns. Blur picks up the rebound. He comes across the top of the circle there, shoots. Odie blocks that, and he works the puck out for Olympia. As we get underneath the 3-minute mark, Odie tries to bring it over the line. And finally does. Gabs. Back to Grim. Back to Gabs. Poked off by Scary Joey in front of the net, and it's over to the left-hand board. Gilly over to Odie. Shot is on, and a great save by Bar Down, and they need as many shots as they can as they're down by 1 with 1 minute and 43 to go.
And right here is where I'm going to be interested to see if we kind of see what we talked about earlier. Will Olympia continue to do what they do, or will they put more shots on, being down 1 and having little time left? It's going to be fun to watch this play out the next 90 seconds.
And the puck does end up getting out of the zone. And it's brought in on the right-hand side. No, it's not. Big poke check by K-Cut. He's so aggressive for Scary Hours. Grim tries to sauce that one into the zone, but Risto throws it all the way down, but it ends up being icing as those offensive zone faceoffs can be deadly, Brandon.
Yeah, and Olympia gonna hope to try to get one on their side right here. Just a little bit of time left, 45 seconds. They're 12 for 7 on that face-off battle, but Scary Hours and Scary Joey winning a critical one right there.
Puck goes through Sitful. Ends up all the way down. No icing on the play. Odie brings that one in, dumps it in, tells the boys to give chase, but it's going to be swallowed up by McFlurry, who gets it poked off his stick. And look at Sitful trying to get through. No thought in dumping that one in. 20 seconds to go. And Olympia has to get on the horse now. Olympia brings it in. Grim. Over on the left-hand side, Odie down low out front. What a poke check by K-Cut as he just saved the game. Blur coming down, takes it into the right-hand corner, but what a poke check by K-Cut to win Scary Hours this hockey game as they take a 2-0 lead in this best-of-7 series here at the Caps Gaming Showcase Finals.
Play of the game, and if Scary Hours is able to win this series, potentially the play of the series, it looked like Olympia were primed to score with little time left and tied this up. You saw Scary Joey, he kind of went up to the top left board, got that poke, but it opened up a little bit of space as Olympia, they were able to hold on, keep it in the zone, and right there, the pass right in front of the net. Bar Down was not able to get from the left side to the right, but the poke check from K-Cut denied Olympia the chance to tie this thing up, and there was nothing but an open net in white mesh right there from, I believe it was McFlurry who was in position to score that one, and wow, K-Cut saving the game for Scary Hours to win this one 2-1 and go up in the series 2-0, Tegan.
Wow. K-Cut. The game on his twig there as he poked that away, and what a play. Reigns trying to shut the door at the other end, give Olympia the best shot they have there, Brandon, but it's just been so tough for them to get down and beat Bar Down with the defense of K-Cut and Risto being so good for Scary Hours.
And with Scary Hours, that's the thing. There's so many things you can kind of point to that have led to their success this season. We've covered them a few times, twice in the regular season, now twice here in the playoffs. But the thing that really stands out to me is that back end. And we talk about all the time how great defense can turn into great offense, and great saves can turn into great offensive opportunities as well. And when you have that back end of Risto and K-Cut, and then you have Bar Down, in the pipes who can make those big saves when he needs to. I kind of mentioned it earlier, but for me at least, Bar Down, maybe one of the more underrated goaltenders in the NA side of the NHL community. He showed why right there with 3 or 4 really critical saves that saved a few goals from Olympia. And then obviously K-Cut, when Bar Down wasn't able to get in that position on that pass over to the right side, K-Cut was right there, made that poke, denied Olympia the opportunity to tie this thing up. And we talk about the offense and the 3 forwards so much. It is the defense and the goaltending of Scary Hours that really drives this team and leads the charge for them. They are the straw that stirs the drink, and the drink has been quite good through 2 games for them.
I would have to say, as Olympia is gripping those scuff controllers very hard, hoping to get a win in Game 3. And speaking of scuff controllers and winners, exclamation point giveaway in the chat for your chance to win a scuff controller here, Brandon.
That is right. You want that scuff controller? I would as well. You have a chance to win one right here tonight. We will be giving away one more Scuff Gaming controller tonight after Game 3. And we have to thank our friends at Scuff Gaming for providing us the opportunity. But remember, explanation point giveaway here in the Twitch chat. Be present, be active. We'll be announcing the winner after Game 3, so after this next game, to see who will be taking home that very last controller, courtesy of our friends at Caps Gaming and everyone at Scuff Gaming as well. So make sure to type in explanation point giveaway one last time in order to give yourself to win that Scuff Gaming controller.
And who isn't going to want an amazing Scuff Gaming controller from the amazing people at Scuff and Caps Gaming, Brandon? And speaking of amazing, how about Scary Hours, Scary Joey, Bar Down Beauty? There's been a lot of amazing stuff here for Scary Hours, and they're going to look to continue to pour this on. But Olympia is no easy task, as they are the winners from last year.
They're the defending champions, and you have to remember, this is a team that has already come back from 1-2-0 deficit against Prodigy. Obviously, this is a best of 7 instead of a best of 5, but they're not really worried about this. Obviously, you would hope for them. They'd hope that they kind of start to get things going a little bit more and expect maybe a little bit more from themselves. But nevertheless, I don't think that they're panicking at all with the situation. They've been here before. They've been here plenty of times, and they've been able to find a way to dig themselves out of holes time and time again. A different challenge with Scary Hours playing as well as they have been in Bar Down Beauty, really looking like a wall in net, so they're gonna have to find a way to get some chances. They had a few that just didn't go in, from a great save here or a great defensive play there. If they can maybe just get that one to break through and get that momentum going for themselves. You saw it against Prodigy, they came back because of that. They could maybe do it here on the biggest stage of the Caps Gaming Showcase.
You know, nothing's impossible here in esports, Brandon, as we have seen teams come back from reverse sweeps. We've seen team sweeps. We've seen everything under the sun. So, you know, anything is possible. You definitely don't want to quit as we dive in to game number 3 here at the Caps Gaming Showcase. Scary Hours is leading the charge here in the series 2-0 in this best of 7, where this Caps Gaming Showcase presented by Leidos, powered by Leaguegaming. You see the cams for Scary Hours on your left, the cams for Olympia on the right-hand side, and we start game number 3. Good pick off by K-Cut. We want to remember the great play he had. As that one's over to the right-hand side, Sitful down to K-Cut. K-Cut looks out front for Sitful, but that one's going to be poked off back out to the neutral zone. And Risto works the puck out here as we've got a little bit of change in contrast here, as we've got Scary Hours in the light-colored jerseys, Olympia in the purples, hoping the purple going to bring Olympia some luck as they're down 2-0 here in this best-of-7 series. Grim gets bumped off the puck by Sitful. Sitful tries to get it out, but Odie picks that one off, and he just takes it back to his own zone for a reset. Odie has it poked off his stick, and Risto gets that over to his partner K-Cut. And a lot of slow breakouts, a big trap here from Olympia to start off game number 3, and that's a little bit of a change there, Brandon.
Yeah, and Scary Hours, they had a lot of success. There's a chance there on Bar Down Beauty Team, and really close for Olympia.
Here's Odie. Odie stops, fires, and a good save by Bar Down Beauty. He had to be sharp as a tricky little shot from the sidewall by Odie. Sitful into the middle to Scary Joey. Scary Joey around behind the net to Blur. Blur puts that along the side. Well, shot on by Sitful. It's going to be held on by Reigns. And we'll get a face-off in the offensive zone for Scary Hours.
And Tegan, back to that trap that you mentioned that Olympia was starting to kind of use on Scary Hours. We had to kind of pivot due to that big chance there that they generated, but that is a bit of an adjustment that we've seen from them. Scary Hours getting some chances, not really having a lot of trouble breaking through the neutral zone in those first 2 games. So Olympia maybe trying to adjust and stick to that 5-man trap and just stall out Scary Hours at that blue line. It's going to be really interesting to watch to see how that works for them here in this game 3.
Yeah, a little bit of an adjustment there from Olympia, and we like to see that, as they are down by 2, so why not change things up? As K-Cut dumps that one in, but I think Olympia is just going to get that one back. They trust Odie to bring this one out. Odie through the middle. Good pick off by Sitful. And Scary Hours puts it back into their own zone, and look at that wall of purple up the ice there, Brandon.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about right there, just trying to stall out Scary Hours in the neutral zone, but they used that dump play, so an adjustment from Olympia, maybe another adjustment from Scary Hours to try to counter that.
We're seeing top North America esports hockey here as K-Cut plays catch with Sitful over to the left-hand side. Risto, he had that gorgeous snipe in game number 2. We won't forget that. And Gilly just throws that one all the way down, and a little more of an aggressive trap here from Scary Hours, but a trap nonetheless is picked up by Blur. Blur over to K-Cut, and Olympia sets up the wall. Dumped in, right-hand side. That one is going to be offside as Sitful picks it up in the right-hand corner.
And through the first about 13 and a half minutes, it looks like that trap not working too bad for Olympia. They're kind of making Scary Hours rework to get into the offensive zone a lot harder than they had to through the first 6 periods of play. So it's going to be interesting to see how they can turn that into offensive chances. That's really been where the struggles have been, not necessarily on the defensive end, but a good start here for Olympia. Have to like the way that they've executed these adjustments here to go into this 3rd game.
Oh, he carries that in front of his net and drops it for McFlurry. He plays catch with Grim, who eventually gives it to Gabsy. Back to Grim. Or back to McFlurry, sorry. McFlurry carries it over backdoor. What a save, bar down beauty, as he came sliding across to rob Gabsy backdoor. Oh, as that one goes off his back end, but eventually gets out here for Scary Hours. Sitful walks across the line, throws the shot on. It's intercepted by McFlurry. Goes back to Grim, but how about bar down beauty on that save?
Looking more like shutdown beauty right now, Tegan. He has been amazing through 3 games, and another big save for him there for Scary Hours.
We're going to start calling him keep them from going bar down beauties. As Gabsy throws that one's intercepted by Risto. Good play at the line, but Odie says anything you can do, I can do better. Steals that one for Olympia, hits Gabsy. Over to McFlurry, back to Gabsy, who throws it back to the point to Grim. Grim switches sides with Odie. That's a good play, but he can't keep it onside.
Man, and that was close, and you're kind of seeing the defense and goaltending starring the show here through the first period of action. A couple of saves from Reigns, obviously the big save from Bar Down Beauty just a few moments ago, and Olympia trying to push back and get that first goal of the game. Scary Hours, they've scored the first goal of both Game 1 and Game 2. Could maybe be a bit of a sign or a trend of what we're seeing here in this series.
It's been a good adjustment from both teams, Brandon. We'll touch on that in the intermission as we have 3 seconds to go here in the first period, and Odie just takes that back to his own end. But Brandon, how about both these teams adjusting as we've seen Olympia set up that trap very early and Scary Hours adjusting with about 13 minutes to go in the first period with that dump in?
And it was so perfect with how we were segueing into that in the middle of the period, the way that Olympia was using that 5-man trap to just try to stall Scary Hours out and making them work a little bit hard to enter into the zone, something that they really didn't have to do much in Game 2, but Scary Hours, there's a lot of smart players on both of these 2 sides. They noticed that and they adjusted. They started to say, okay, we're going to dump this in, try to go over their heads and then get into the zone that way, and we saw it happen multiple times and it worked for them a few as well. So I kind of wonder if this maybe just becomes more of a game that it's just a few shots between each team and there's not really a lot of chances, and they're few and far between for both of these 2 sides. As Scary Hours, we know how they're able to use the trap. Olympia now adjusting and using it as well, so it should be fun to see how much this game slows down as this goes on.
You know what? We see adjustments in games, and sometimes we see adjustments on casts. I want to take a second to thank the amazing F5 Penguin behind the scenes running things right now with the great cams and everything you're seeing. So a tip of the cap to that gorgeous gentleman, as he is working very hard. K-Cut carrying that one out of the defensive zone into the middle of the Blur. Right-hand side, Scary Joey looks back for Blur, but that one's intercepted by McFlurry. Right-hand side. Gabs has it poked off his stick. Blur trying to make a move to get into the zone, but it's poked off, and it's going to be put all the way back down to K-Cut in the defensive zone for Scary Hours. K-Cut walks that one up, doesn't like what he sees, Brandon, and these teams don't mind taking it back and resetting. As K-Cut curls in his own zone, works it through the neutral zone. Right-hand side, good job by Gabs, as we're seeing textbook trap hockey from Olympia, and they decide to give it back to K-Cut over left-hand side, Risto. Risto tried to work that one in through Blur, but again, Olympia plays great trap hockey. And it's going to be brought in, tried to, through Odie, but a good job by Scary Hour. As they intercept that puck and work it out, K-Cut now, he dumps that one in, left-hand side. Who's it going to be? It's going to be Gilly, who helps out the defense for Olympia. And puck is going to be moved up by Olympia. It pops loose. Grim trying to pick that up and throw it into the middle, but it's going to be K-Cut who resets in his own zone for Scary Hours. And what a difference in a hockey game we're seeing here from game 1 and 2 from both teams here, Brandon.
This is what we were saying to look out for during that intermission, things kind of slowing down, and you can tell Scary Hours, that offensive success that they saw in the first 2 games, not as much here in game 3, and it's because of that adjustment of the trap from Olympia. They're not allowing them to establish the zone. It's what Scary Hours does well. When you're able to take that away, it helps you so much, and we're seeing that difference made here for Olympia.
Gilly, nice move as he walked around to check and sniped that one. Speaking of bar down, but it might be called off with some goalie interference, which that's got to be demoralizing for Olympia.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to say that McFlurry ran into bar down Beauty just a little bit. It was a beautiful shot there from Gilly, who we hadn't heard much from before that play. But, man, for Olympia, it just feels like you finally break that through and it just gets taken away. It's really unfortunate. Got to feel a little bit disheartening there, but a little encouraged as well to get that first goal. Know you got that opportunity. Now you just have to do it again, only hopefully for them without the goaltender interference the next time.
You're right, Brandon. There's 2 things you can do after that. You can hang your head or look high and say, we put one pass bar down. Let's go out there and get another one as they forward check hard. McFlurry out front. Risto picks that up. And we see a 2-on-1 the other way. Blur. Scary Joey goes over to Sitful and he hits Scary Joey in front. Unfortunate chance for Scary Hours. Risto fires that one on and they're telling Scary Joey he's a better door in the window as he makes his second block. Sitful. Down low to Blur. Out front to Scary Joey. Scary Joey takes it to the left-hand boards. Poke checked off his stick, and he still fights for it. Scary Joey walks out. What a move, but he's forced off the puck by Odie, as Odie gets a little help there as, whoa, we get a crazy bounce, and that one's icing.
Yeah, and I don't think that Scary Hours is going to be complaining too much, no matter how crazy that one was. But man, both of these teams with some really good chances, and ever since that disallowed goal, Scary Hours trying to push back a little bit here. We'll see if they can capitalize. Would be a huge swing of momentum between the disallowed goal if Scary Hours could maybe capitalize here.
K-Cut drops that one down low, but it's going to be sauced up to Gilly. Gilly still holding forehand. Tried a shot. He was a little bit too far behind the net. A pretty routine save there for bar down Beauty. And K-Cut works that puck out of the zone. Just stops up. Decides to take his time. K-Cut, good pass over to Sitful. Sitful walks and fires, and that one's wide. Probably the best chance of the game for Scary Hours is Olympia. Takes the puck through the neutral zone now. Odie brings it in. Nice move by Odie. Odie looks for the cut play, but Risto with a good interception. As these players are all at the elite status, they all know the cut plays, don't they, Brandon?
And that's what makes them all so good. And not only do they have that IQ to make those plays, but they have the cohesion and the chemistry with one another to be able to know when to make that play, when to pass it, to get that opportunity that makes it that dangerous scoring chance. So both of these teams are able to use that. We'll see if maybe they can get one here to score the first goal.
Arctic Blur drops that one behind the net, and they eventually go to K-Cut. As we know, Scary Hours likes to break that puck out through K-Cut. As Risto tried to cancel a pass there, did a nice little one-touch deke to give us a tiny bit of a show. And that does it there for period number 2 here at the Caps Gaming Showcase Finals North America.
And this just kind of feels like the swing game, doesn't it, Tegan? Scary Hours up 2-0 in the series, a dominant game 1, a closer game 2, but a few plays just making the difference. Now we're at a pretty even pace, you know? We kind of are in this game where it feels like Olympia had that chance to really take things over with that first goal, but it was disallowed. But on the defensive end, they're shutting Scary Hours down. Only one shot, and that was in the first period, so they're about 25 minutes without a shot. Scary Hours are, and that trap really working well for them in terms of not being able to give Scary Hours those opportunities, almost similar to what Scary Hours did to Olympia in the first game. So if you are Olympia, this just feels like the one you have to take. You have to find a way to score. You have to find a way to really seize this game, use that defensive momentum and the defensive play that you've had, and see this thing through to get yourselves back into the series. We'll see if they can do it. They've answered to the call before. They'll see if they can do it again right here.
There's a big tie-up in the neutral zone. It's dropped back to K-Cut. K-Cut carries that one out, dumps it in, right-hand corner, Sitful, looks to go over to Blur, but a great pickup again by Odie. As Odie, a very big part of this Olympia team, has it poked off his stick, Sitful has it poked off his, and Odie's going to get it right back and go left-hand side. Gille, he didn't like the entry he saw. And puck's going to be worked out through none other than Odie. Odie dumps that in, right-hand side. Taken away by Olympia. Good job. Is that one shot on? Loose in front, and Risto takes it away. And it's going to be carried down the left-hand side. Gille. Over to Grimm. And Grimm just kind of stopping up as this has been a very slow breakout for both sides. But a good pass ahead as they look back door as nobody home for Olympia. Sitful hasn't poked off his stick, but Blur's there and good puck support in the right-hand wall. Down low to Scary Joey. Back to Blur. Blur fires, and that one was a huge rebound. And the puck's over to the left-hand side. Blur. Blur back to the point for Risto. Risto fires, and that one goes just wide as we saw Risto score from there last game, didn't we, Brandon?
And that was the one that took Scary Hours 2-1, and they held that lead from that point forward. He tried to do the same right there, but unfortunately this time, opportunity just didn't see itself go in.
Here's Sitful. Sitful walking through the middle, look for the cut play to Scary Joey, but couldn't get it to him. As Blur trying to move that puck in front as well, but good defense continuing from Olympia. As Gilly throws that puck in deep, K-Cut picks it up, and 10 minutes to go in this scoreless game here in the third period. That one goes all the way to Reigns. He just throws that one to the corner, trying to get it away. Odie. Way offside. There is Gilly, so Odie's going to have to carry that one back and go over to his partner, Grimm. Grimm changes sides with Odie and goes along the left-hand boards. Good entry here for Olympia. They wrap it behind the net, but K-Cut is there. And K-Cut is very, very good on defense here for Scary Hours, hasn't he, Brandon?
Yeah, he's been amazing. The defensive efforts of both of these two teams have been absolutely unreal here in this game 3. You just kind of get the sense that the next goal is going to be the one that wins it. It's going to be big for whoever can break this thing open.
Here's Risto over to the left-hand side to Blur. Good interception by Gabs. As Olympia, it looks like a whole new team here, Brandon, as they forward check hard. Here's K-Cut trying to throw it up the right-hand side. Gabs fires as that one goes right off a post with 4 minutes to go. And wouldn't that have been nice? Puck back to the point. Odie over to Grimm. Shot on its list. And McFlurry scores!
A huge goal for Olympia on the stick of McFlurry. He was the one that unfortunately got tagged for the goaltender interference that disallowed the first goal, but he said, hey, I've got this. We don't need to look at that one again. A clear goal from McFlurry, and it couldn't have come at a bigger time. Now Olympia in amazing position to get their first victory of the series.
Puck is going to be brought in. With 2 minutes to go, they need everything from Scary Hours here, don't they, Brandon?
Yeah, they really do. Now Scary Hours, they're in a position they haven't been in before. Their backs against the wall in this game. We'll see if they can really get this thing going and tie this up. But Olympia playing amazing defensively right now. Going to be tough to break them.
Here's K-Cut. K-Cut moves that one down. It's out front to Sitful. Sitful over to Blur. As that puck is going to be poked off, and Olympia doesn't mind that. K-Cut with charge. Goes into the middle to Scary Joey. Scary Joey trying to drive, but a great defensive play by Grim. And there's only 30 seconds remaining as Gilly, nice play into the middle to McFlurry. McFlurry has that poked off his stick. It's back to Grim, and Grim wraps that around his own net for Odie. Into the middle to McFlurry. Good poke by K-Cut. K-Cut back door. He had Sitful, but the pass went back to Risto. And here goes K-Cut. K-Cut dumps that one in. Grim picks it up. He throws that one around the left-hand side, and Gilly brings it out, and this is looking good for Olympia, but they ice it. Can they get there first? And they do. It's Gabs, and that does it for game number 3, and the Caps Gaming final is going to be won by Olympia.
And that had to have felt like a must-win game for Olympia, and they played amazingly in that game as well. And Tegan, we talked about a little bit starting in, how would Olympia adjust? How would they change their game with the way Scary Hours was playing? We found their answer there with a beautifully executed trap, holding Scary Hours to just 2 shots on net through the entire game. 1 in the first period, 1 in the third, and that is exactly what they needed, because going down 3-0, we've seen Olympia pull off some comebacks, but winning 4 straight against a Scary Hours team that's played as well as they have, that was going to be quite tough. So a must-win situation, and Olympia does just that.
They do just that, and we'd like to thank Magical for coming in with that raid, and we welcome you new viewers. This is the Caps Gaming Showcase North America Final, where Olympia just came back in this best of 7 series to win a game where Scary Hours is leading the series brand in 2-1, and what a great adjusting game from Olympia. We know they're the defending champs for a reason, and it's because they can adjust like that after coming back from losing 2 straight.
Yeah, and we've talked about a few times how Olympia, they're not unfamiliar with this situation. They've been able to pull off these comebacks before, but the reason that is because of their ability to be able to adjust. They did so right there perfectly. Scary Hours, they were getting a lot of chances in game 1 and game 2. They had that zone time, something that they're so good at being able to do, creating when they have possession and they're able to sustain it. This time, not so much. They had possession even at some points, but Olympia just not letting them get clear shots on net on Reigns, who, when he's playing as well as he has as well, you get that defense with that goaltending. Olympia, more times than not, going to be pretty tough to beat. So a big win for them there. We kind of have a bit of a tighter series, so it's going to be fun to see how Scary Hours now adjusts, as I am sure they're going to look to do here for a pivotal game 4 coming up here in a little bit.
Well, we're just about halfway through this best of 7 series. I am Tegan, it's King Line Blair. He is Brandon, B Major Bigsby. And of course, behind the scenes, we have the amazing Nick F5 Penguin DeMail. And we possibly could have a new Scuff winner here, Brandon, as we're getting ready to give away a controller.
In a matter of moments, we will find out the winner of the last Scuff Gaming controller. Remember, you had to be here in order to claim said prize. Right here, twitch.tv/capital was that exclamation point giveaway in order to enter that. As we will find out our winner here in just a few minutes. We gave one away last week, gave one away the week before, and here are the finals. We not only will have a team winning and taking home a championship, but we will have a viewer winning and taking home a Scuff Gaming controller. And man, oh man, Tegan, I gotta be honest, almost envious of the person who's gonna win this. It's CAD Canadians 27, the winner of the last Scuff Gaming controller here, Tegan. And boy, oh boy, he's getting quite the prize there, isn't he, as you can see on your screen.
He has to be here to claim, I do believe, if that's correct. I'll find out from behind the scenes, but we want to congratulate Cad Sam, obviously a right winger for Prodigy. So he may not be winning the championship, but he's definitely walking away with something amazing here, Brandon.
Yeah, you know, you can't always have it all. You might not be able to win that championship, Prodigy having an amazing season falling to the Olympia team we're seeing here tonight, but hey, he might be able to come home with a Scuff Gaming controller. We'll see if he claims, but if he does, he's going to be a lucky guy, because gotta be honest, I wouldn't mind getting my hand on one of those nice controllers, courtesy of our friends at Scuff Gaming, as well as everyone at Caps Gaming as well.
As I did get word from the Caps, that is correct. We are needing CAD to jump in and claim, and I'm not sure if I have seen anything in the chat. I wonder how long the Caps are going to give them to get in here to get that controller. Is who wouldn't love that? You know, you've got Caps Gaming coming out here is trying to do a nice thing. Is we've got them counting down in the chat now, making it a little interesting here as the Caps putting everybody on the edge of their zip chairs.
Oh, you got it at the buzzer.
He gets it at the very
Wow.
end, Caps. Can you believe it? Thank you for the countdown, Capitals. And there he is, CAD. Congratulations. Brandon, let him know what he's won.
You've won yourself the last of 3, a Scuff Gaming controller, CAD. Obviously, I know you guys weren't able to be here for this championship, but hey, man, you won something tonight, a nice Scuff Gaming controller. I have to admit, a little jealous myself. Wouldn't mind getting my hands on one of those, but the lucky winner for this one, Canadians27, better known as CAD, and you got there just at the buzzer as Polk's in the chat saying he spam called him to get him to come in and claim, so a W for CAD, as some may say. And congratulations to him to be able to claim that last Scuff Gaming controller. And can't do this without thanking Caps Gaming and the guys at Scuff Gaming as well for giving us the opportunity to give these away here to our viewers. Always fun to be able to give these away, and it's always cool to see the viewers be able to win something themselves as well.
Yeah, it's always fun to have everybody included, right, Brandon? We don't just like to have people winning in the games. We love to have people winning in the chat as well. And that's the best thing about esports, the best thing about Caps Gaming. And we appreciate all the sponsors that are able to allow us to give things out and do things like that. We're going to need to dive into game number 4, Brandon. And Olympia is going to look to continue with their foot on the pedal to drive this train through what is scary hours.
And you know, Tegan, you kind of get a feeling that they're starting to kind of get that going. You talked about trying to drive through the train of scary hours, but maybe that game 3, with the way they played, the shutdown defense, they were able to break through and get that goal in the last few minutes. Maybe this is the breakthrough that Olympia needed. They always seem to have that one moment that really propels them forward. Could that potentially be it? The shutdown defense and then the goal from McFlurry in the last few minutes to avoid going down 3-0 and seeing that through to win game 3 and get themselves back into the series. As game 4 could be the one that sways the way the series goes. Scary Hours looking to go up 3-1. Olympia looking to tie it up 2-2. Should be fun to watch. Who is going to win this one?
Number 4 in the Caps Gaming Showcase, presented by Leidos, powered by Leaguegaming. One of these teams going to be walking away with $7,500. The other one with $2,500 here, Brandon, as that one goes over the boards, and Olympia setting up in that trap again.
Yeah, and you can't blame them. It worked so well in game 3. Why wouldn't you go to it again here in game 4? What I'm really interested to see is how Scary Hours is going to adjust. Not a lot of shots on net in game 3, as you mentioned, only 2, despite getting a decent amount of time on attack. It will be interesting to see how they adjust to that to give themselves more opportunities like they had in games 1 and 2.
You're absolutely right, as he is Brandon B. Major Bigsby. I'm Tegan, it's King Lime Blair, and behind the scenes we have the amazing Nick F5 Penguin DeMeo. Sitful comes in front. It is Scary Joey, and he's robbed on the doorstep by Reigns. The Scary Hours in the white jerseys. Olympia in purple. It brought them luck last game. We'll see if it does this one. McFlurry, down low to Gabs. Gabs curls in the corner, back down low to McFlurry. McFlurry, and it's off the goaltender's skate and in. And Olympia is up 1-0 once again.
And the flower has bloomed here in the last about 15 minutes of game time play. He got the game winner in game 3, and he kicks off game 4 to get the scoring started for Olympia. McFlurry goes in behind the net, just puts that one, looked like right behind Bar Down Beauty. He wasn't tied to that post, and it just gave that little bit of room for McFlurry to put that one in. And Tegan, don't look now, but Olympia really looking solid, up 1-0 here in this game 4.
Yeah, you can tell by the look of my man K-Cut's face there on the left-hand side. Not impressed with that one, Brandon, as we've seen a few of those come from behind the net, go off a goaltender's skate, but nonetheless, Olympia's up 1-0. As K-Cut takes that back in his own zone, as We saw the Leaguegaming's amazing dynamic stats system in the top left-hand corner of your screen. You'll see that power plays, goals scored. Just keep your eye out for that. As here goes McFlurry, the goal scorer for Olympia, up the right-hand side. K-Cut swallows that one up on the right-hand boards, and he works the puck out through the middle. K-Cut, head to Scary Joey. Nice job stopping up. Blur in front is... Sitful tried to get him that puck, but couldn't. It's behind the net now. Blur, Sitful, back to Blur. Blur, back to Sitful as they play catch on the right-hand side. Down low to Joey, back to the point. K-Cut takes it to the middle over to Risto. Back to K-Cut, slapped on. And that one's off a body. Blur with the wraparound is robbed by Reigns. And Grim works the puck out for Olympia. Odie, look at the speed on him as he tried to come all the way through the middle. And we've seen that before, haven't we, Brandon?
And Olympia, one of those teams, they play that really steady game, but when they want to use that speed and turn on the jets, they have the ability to do so, especially with their two wingers of Gabze and Gilly. Should be interesting to see if that breaks open at any point. So far, I haven't seen it, but a little bit of a glimpse of it right there on that last possession.
Risto, left-hand side to Blur. Blur into the middle to Scary Joey. Back up high to K-Cut as he's bumped off the puck there by Gabse. Good back check by him. Sitful looks into the middle to Scary Joey, gets bounced to the corner, but Joey picks it up in front of Blur on the cut, and he couldn't thread the needle. It went all the way to the corner. Sitful down low to Blur. Blur wraps it all the way back to the point to K-Cut. K-Cut back to his partner Risto. He fires. Good, easy routine save by Reigns. And Gabse over to McFlurry, to Gabse, back to McFlurry. McFlurry, nice move. He comes down along the bottom of the circle, still loose, and bar down holds on to it.
And now we'll see if Olympia can go up 2-0, and you kind of have to feel for Scary Hours. Obviously, that first goal, not really a lot you can do about that unfortunate bounce on Bar Down Beauty, but they're going to have to find a way to push back here. Olympia, they're one of those teams that the more they get generating, the more they become harder to stop. Should be interesting. If they get this second goal, this could be really scary minutes for Scary Hours here in the series.
The puck is going to be shot on. It goes off a body and out of play, and nice blocks by Scary Hours. We've seen quite a few of them.
Yeah, and that's something Scary Hours is so good at. Obviously, you have a guy like Bar Down Beauty that can make saves, but you don't want to allow too many high-quality looks on him. They do such a good job of getting in front of lanes and not allowing their opponent to get that clear shot on net if they don't have to. Scary Hours has done that throughout the series. It's going to be a key for them to keep this up and keep playing the way they have defensively.
Blur looks to wrap that one around. Another good save by Reigns. K-Cut steps up and trying to get some offense going, but ends up taking a penalty, and we'll see Olympia go to the power play with 2 minutes to go here in the first period. Game number 4, Caps Gaming Showcase North American Final.
Yeah, and what's huge about that is it's K-Cut that takes the penalty, so a guy that has been a catalyst of the defensive efforts of Scary Hours now out of the game, so we'll have Sitful come back and fill in at that right D spot, but that's something to look out here for Olympia.
He's actually done that very good. What a pass! As we see that vertical hockey one-timer is robbed by Bar Down Beauty.
And Scary Hours is going to keep leaning on Bar Down Beauty to make the big saves that he has all series long. Another one for him there, and Scary Hours, this is a big PK for them here. We'll see if they've executed, but they've been solid on the penalty kill so far. I'm going to look for one more here with just a few minutes left here in the first period.
Grim bringing that through the neutral zone over to Odie as Olympia loves to get that puck to Odie on entry. Blur brings it over the line. Good kill here as they sauce that one in front. A little bit of offense brewing shorthanded. His puck is going to be back to the point. Grim to Odie. Fired, and good block there. And Blur works it out and dumps it all the way down the right-hand side. Odie works the puck out for Olympia. Poke checked off his stick. And Gabs over to McFlurry, and what a save by Bar Down Beauty. McFlurry back out front. Puck is loose. Fought for by both teams, but saved by the buzzer, Brandon.
Yeah, things were getting a little bit scary there, no pun intended. Things started to generate a little bit more, and it looked like there was some hecticness there in the last 10 to 15 seconds, but nevertheless, Scary Hours come out unscathed, and they will maintain that 1-goal deficit that they see in the first period. And now this is a big second period for Scary Hours. They didn't really get a lot going in game 3, not a lot going here so far in game 4 either. They kind of faced the same scenario that Olympia faced in the first 2 games. How do you find a way to break through the defense? How can you get those looks at the goalie in range to get yourself something open to break through. And it's going to be tough for Scary Hours because now Olympia, they've adjusted. Scary Hours going to have to find something and find a way to do that same thing.
As 5 seconds to go here before we get into period number. As we dive down to the opening draw here, that one's going to be won by Olympia. Period number 2 is started, and Grim up the left-hand boards. Nice saucer pass. Picked up by K-Cut. K-Cut through the middle, dumps that one in right-hand side. Sitful, good pickup. Oh, he looked to wrap that one. He put it off the wrong side of the net, and it's going to be back out to the neutral zone. And they bring it over, and that one's offside.
And it's going to be interesting here because now Scary Hours, they're going to look to break through. Obviously, things have slowed down for them, but you have to remember the scoring punch that they have up front with Sitful, with Blur. Those have been the two guys that have really scored for them throughout these playoffs, especially in those first 2 games. So kind of watch for them to look to break open, but so far, Olympia just stellar defensively, especially right here in the neutral zone, just not letting Scary Hours break past him, Tegan.
K-Cut works it over to his partner Risto and in through Scary Joey in the easy entry, but they're just stuffed at the line. But a hold there by Olympia is going to send Scary Hours to the power play.
And this is a huge chance here for Scary Hours. They've had a few chances, and it feels like the more that they kind of get back into it, the more they can take this thing back the way things were in the first 2 games. But now a chance on the power play to get that offensive zone time, get some chances on range, and maybe, just maybe, break past to tie this thing back up.
Risto over to K-Cut. K-Cut good pass back to Risto over to Blur. Risto to his partner K-Cut. K-Cut had it poked off his stick, and no momentum here for Scary Hours in game number 4 here in the Caps Gaming Showcase Final. North America. K-Cut goes to Risto over to Blur. It's loose and they score. Sitful comes in on the rebound and buries it.
And that is exactly what Scary Hours needed right there to be able to get back in this game and tie it up. We talked about how that power play was a huge chance for them to do that. They do so right there, and it was interesting. I wish we could have seen the replay of that. It looked like Reigns, I don't know if it was manual or not, but he made a desperation save, which allowed that open look for Sitful on the right side. But nevertheless, they don't ask how, they ask how many. Scary Hours gets there first here in the last 4 periods to tie this up at 1 apiece.
Sitful, the goal scorer here for Scary Hours, tries another shot. That one's poked away. As no surprise, Sitful involved on another goal for Scary Hours. As Odie, oh, what a pass! As that one finds Gabze and he finds the back of the net. What an answer by Olympia.
And Tegan, we've talked about it a few times, how Olympia loves to use the defenseman on the offensive end to generate chances, and you saw it right there for the first time really in this series. Odie goes up, makes a play, puts a beautiful pass on the stick of Gabsy to get that through, and now Olympia, right when Scary Hours puts the lead, or excuse me, ties this thing up, Olympia comes right back on the other end, takes the lead right back, and gets themselves right back where they were just a few minutes ago.
Puck is going to be shot down the left-hand side. Gilly out front, and what a save by Bar Down Beauty, is maybe looking to get some momentum built back up here for Scary Hours. Here's Gilly. Gilly just throws that one easily on. McFlurry behind the net. McFlurry back to the point to Odie. Odie still holding on to that. Goes back over to Gilly. Gilly fires, looking for a rebound, and that one steered away. And puck's going to be moved out and dumped all the way down on an icing here. But what a great answer by Olympia, Brandon.
Yeah, and that's really the first time that we've been able to see Olympia really just get that immediate pushback on Scary Hours when they were able to finally break things through and tie it up. It took a little to no time for Odie to go back down on the other end, get that pass off the Gapsy is another close chance for Olympia, Tegan.
As K-Cut's going to work that puck out for Scary Hours into the middle to Scary Joey. And Grim takes that one away. He just waits up behind his net. He goes up the right-hand boards to Gabse. Over to McFlurry. McFlurry has it poked off his stick with good puck support by Grim for Olympia. He tried to thread the needle through the middle, but K-Cut throws that one up the left-hand side to Blur as Odie all over him in great gap support. As Odie back up to McFlurry. McFlurry goes all the way through, over, and what a save by Bar Down Beauty as he robbed Gilly that time.
And you know, Tegan, we talked about a little bit earlier, the speed that Olympia has. They don't do it all of the time, but they're able to turn it on and use that speed to their advantage to generate an opportunity. We saw McFlurry use it right there to give the chance over to Gilly, and then it just didn't work out. Bar Down Beauty all over it, made a great save to keep this thing at 2-1.
Gary Joey stops up, wants to reset with Risto with 4 minutes to go in the second period. Risto sauces that from his own side of center, and that is going to be icing. It's going to come all the way back down to Scary Hours territory. Face off here to the left of Bar Down Beauty is going to be tied up, and Risto gets it into the zone. Goes down low to Blur. Over to Sitful. Sitful goes behind the net, back to the point. K-Cut over to Risto. Risto, K-Cut, he fires, and another block shot there by Olympia.
Yeah, that's something we've talked about. Scary Hours being able to execute so well is taking away those shot lanes and blocking shots before they get to the goalie. You see it right there. Olympia now using it to their advantage. Could be huge for them, up 2-1, just continuing that well defensive play.
Scary Hours looking to answer after that quick answer from Olympia. Shot on by Scary Joey is robbed by Reigns.
And, you know, it's kind of the first time we've really had to see a lot of Reigns. Only 2 shots for Scary Hours in Game 1. Shots have been few and far between here in Game 3. And now in Game 4 here, shots have been few and far between. But Reigns still sharp as ever, making big saves, always in position. He just has that ability and has that calmness about him that no matter what the opportunity is, just feels like he's always able to read that play, get in position, and make that big stop.
Puck brought in by McFlurry. McFlurry for Olympia. Backdoor. What a feed. And Gabze finds the mesh.
This has just been a playmaking masterclass in this period from Olympia. Some of these passes that they have put on, just squeezing it through tight windows, threading the needle to get it over. It has been Gabsy who has benefited on the goals on the last 2. A great play there. The first one from Odie. I believe that one was from McFlurry, and Olympia now up by 2, 3-1 lead. Scary Hours, they're gonna have to do a little bit of soul searching here. They really are on their heels here in this game.
As that's Gab's 17th goal of the playoffs, as we see Leaguegaming's dynamic stat system come into play, but Sitful wants his name up there too, Brandon, as he comes back with a quicker answer than we saw from Olympia.
We started talking about how Olympia was really taking this game, and Scary Hours said, not so fast. We still have time. A big goal there in the last few seconds, just 0.3 left on the clock, and Sitful buried it for his second of the game. That could not have come at a bigger point there for this Scary Hours team. Going into the third period down 2 is going to be pretty daunting. Now, just a 1-goal deficit in 20 minutes to try to get themselves back to tie it up.
Sitful comes in with a big goal there to at least give Scary Hours an opportunity here in this third period, Brandon. And what do you expect to see out of Scary Hours? Maybe more grease, or do you think they're going to try and move it around and try and find that perfect path?
Man, I mean, they've had some more success in terms of getting chances. You see 7 shots on 431 of time on attack. So offensively, already much better than what we saw in the previous game in Game 3. So I don't expect them to switch it up too much. Just kind of depends on where this game is as the game gets later. Maybe as we start to hit that 5-minute mark, you'll see Scary Hours maybe put more shots on that. But as of now, getting that last goal from Sitful, which is why I think it's so huge, you don't have to play with really as much desperation. You can continue to play your game, play the way you choose to, just really imperative to get that goal. So I think Scary Hours is going to stick to the plan and stick to the play style that they prefer here in the first minutes. But if they're still down and it comes about that 5-minute mark, look for them to maybe throw some more shots on that and hopefully one goes in.
Period number 3 here in game number 4 at the Caps Gaming Showcase Finals, presented by Leidos, powered by Leaguegaming. Olympia in purple, Scary Hours in white, and Scary Hours needs a goal, or else Olympia is going to be coming out and tying this series up at 2-2. Grim for Olympia goes over on the right-hand side. Gabze has it poked off his stick, and McFlurry gets that one back to Odie. Odie the normal culprit with the puck to get it in for Olympia, or at least work the breakout. Oh, what a move by McFlurry into Gabsy, and he scores! What a snipe!
And that's 3 straight for Gabsy, a hat trick for him, and he is just woken up and taken over in this game for Olympia. A beautifully placed shot with not a lot of room on that left post as we see the replay of it there. I'm trying to see, did he get it in that 5-hole or was it top left by that blocker? Unfortunately, the replay angle not really letting us see it too much, but nevertheless, a well-placed shot from Gabsy and a big goal for Olympia to get them back up by 2 in the third.
What a gorgeous hat trick goal by Gabs, as I think he did pick that short side, Brandon, as it looked like it might have just popped in right under his blocker, but nonetheless, what an awesome job by Olympia to come out with a huge answer after going down by 2, and that's why they are the defending champions.
And that's what we were talking about earlier. Obviously, you don't want to tire the narrative, but they're just a team that always finds a way no matter what the situation is. You put them in a deficit, they'll find a way to claw back. You give them a lead, they'll find a way to hold it. And in this situation, they were down 2-0 in the series. Things were pretty stalled out in game 3, and they found that one big moment that we talked about earlier, that one big play that seems to make the difference, galvanizes this team, and just pretty much carries them the way through to take things home. And right now, with the way they're playing, they have to feel good about their chances. The momentum is on their side. The generation of chances has been there much more compared to games 1 and 2. It just feels like they're clicking more and more and more as this series goes on.
It's Brandon, we see the double timeout as he is Brandon B. Major Bigsby. I am Tegan, it's King Line Blair, and we have the amazing Nick F5 DeMayo behind the scenes producing for us as the Penguin himself. Odie working that puck out for Olympia as he normally does. Left-hand side, Gilly just dumps that win. I assume it would be slow game from Olympia and the amazing trap that's been textbook for them. But look at K-Cut as he walks all the way in, but poke checked away is Gilly. Gilly stops up, goes back down low to Gabs, and a delayed penalty here as Olympia is going to be going to the power play if they don't score. Grimm fires, that one's blocked, and there they go. Olympia right back to the power play, Brandon.
And not at all what Scary Hours needed, going shorthanded. This is an imperative penalty kill now for them. If they don't kill this off and Olympia scores, have to feel pretty sure that they're going to be able to put this thing at 5-2 and tie this series up at 2 apiece. Huge kill here for Scary Hours.
Odie, back to Grimm, over to Gilly. Gilly, Grimm, high slot, stops up, curls around again. Good patience there by Grimm, down low to Gilly, bumped off of the puck on the left-hand side. Gabsy takes it away, goes back to Grimm for Olympia, and this is great work by Olympia in the offensive zone. They throw one through the middle, it goes all the way through. And that one's poked all the way out. Here comes Olympia, left-hand side. Gilly, back to Grimm. Grimm has it poked off his stick, and Blur sends it all the way down, and that'll do it for the power play. So a good kill. 10 minutes left here for Scary Hours, Brandon.
Yeah, and now it's a big PK, but now they're going to have to find a way to break open some scoring. You have about 9 minutes to get to tie this up, and not only that, but you have to be flawless on the defensive end and not allow Olympia to put one back in themselves. So Scary Hours, they're going to have to put over their best effort here in the next few minutes to try to get back in this game.
As they had a great opportunity on the right-hand side as Sidful driving had an opportunity to get a hat trick himself, but couldn't get it through Reigns. Face-offs even here with 8 minutes to go. That one's tied up. Sidful comes into the middle and gets it for Scary Hours. What a pass to Scary Joey, and he scores!
And just when you think Scary Hours is down, they get themselves right back up and in striking distance to get back into this game. A big goal from the captain in Scary Joey, and they needed it right at that time. So now, only down by 1, 8 minutes to go. A lot of time, Scary Hours looking good and really putting themselves in a good position to make this comeback.
As Scary Joey gets a big one, as that's his 8th goal of the playoffs. He's been very, very good in the defensive zone. He gets one off of the stick of none other than Sitful, who's involved on another goal, Brandon, as that number will have to get from behind the scenes on how many goals he's been involved in, because There's only been one he hasn't been, and he's been involved in every one tonight. Scary Joey wraps that around to Sitful. Back to Joey. Joey in the right-hand side, looking for Sitful. It goes back to the point to Risto. Risto with a lane, goes back door to Sitful, fires that one on. It's blocked by McFlurry. And Risto had that lane there, decided not to take it. Grim down to Gabs, into the middle. McFlurry poked off his stick. Good defense there by Scary Joey. Puck at the left-hand side, into the middle to Risto. Risto down low, Blur fires. What a pad save by Reigns.
And we talked about Risto, how he wasn't taking that shot there on the last possession, but he created a great opportunity right after that. A great pass there, getting it over to the left winger in Blur, but Reigns just all over to make the save. And Scary Hours maybe starting to wake up. You kind of see that momentum starting to generate for them here. It could be big if they could get this goal here in the next 3 minutes, because right now, they're starting to buzz, Tegan.
3 minutes, and here comes Joey through the middle. It's poked off by none other Nodi. Remember that if they win this hockey game, that one's going to be put out front. Scary Joey has Sitful back door, but they can't get it through Grim. Grim on the right-hand side, fought by Blur. Blur out front. Reigns steers that over to the left-hand boards. Gilly trying to get away. He can't get through K-Cut, and here comes K-Cut into the zone. A minute remaining in game number 4. That puck's back to the point, over to Risto. He fires Sitful. He scores! Sitful, his hat trick to tie the game and possibly force overtime.
And who else at this point but Sitful for Scary Hours? We just mentioned Tegan, you just mentioned it. He's been everywhere. He's contributed on nearly every goal for Scary Hours the last couple weeks, and this time he's the one to get the goal to tie this thing up for Scary Hours. What a comeback in this game.
Wow, what offense by Sitful in the playoffs nonetheless. In this series, he's been fantastic. He comes in with a huge goal for Scary Hours. There's 40 seconds to go here. And we're going to have my favorite type of hockey. As Sitful comes over the line, they manage to keep it onside, but they go back to K-Cut to Scary Hours and works the puck out on the breakout. K-Cut dumps that one in. Sitful first onto the puck. Good shot back to K-Cut. He fires that one on, and Reigns with a great save with 20.2 on the clock.
And Olympia, they're going to need it now. Reigns, things that are kind of starting to drift away from Olympia. Reigns going to have to be huge for his side. Now, Scary Hours, all the momentum, starting to feel themselves offensively. Big goaltending going to have to be a key here for Olympia if they want to avoid having this comeback completed from their opposition of Scary Hours.
Grim crosses, and that puck's brought in by Odie, of course. And a delayed penalty on the play, and Olympia going to the power play.
Wow. That is huge for Olympia. We kind of mentioned how they were going to need something, and maybe the goaltending could be that thing. Maybe the power play could get something through, and they could avoid overtime altogether. Let's see.
As Blur is going to go sit for 2 minutes. As whoa, that one was close as it just sailed wide. As wouldn't that been a way to end it here at the Caps Gaming Showcase North American Finals. This is game number 4. We are going to head to overtime where Scary Hours leads the series against Olympia 2-1.
Yeah, that might have been a little bit too close there for Scary Hours, but hey, it didn't go in. They'll take this thing into overtime, and they have to feel good about the way things are trending. Coming back from down 2 late in this game to get themselves back in, and you kind of felt that when Olympia scored that opening goal in the third period that they would be able to see this thing through and take it home, but Scary Hours just keeping their foot on the gas pedal, never giving up. They scored that goal with about 7 minutes left to make it a 1-goal game. We said it, that could be huge because there's still time for them to get that one more if they can hold Olympia from scoring. They did just that. Sitful clutch as usual with 59 seconds to go, and now we're getting some extra hockey, Tegan. What more could you ask for than what we have seen in this game?
There is not much you could ask for more here. Brandon B. Major Bigsby. I am Tegan. It's King Lime Blair. He is Nick F5 Penguin DeMeo, and this is the Caps Gaming North American Showcase Finals. Is one of these teams going to be walking away with 7,500, the other 2,500. But we got to get through this best of 7 first. Scary Hours in white, Olympia in purple. Overtime period. Puck is going to be dumped all the way down and in behind the net. Odie works the puck out here for Olympia. Over to Grim. Grim doesn't like what he sees. He resets that. That one's going to be poked off and picked up here by Bristow. Odie blocks that one and brings it through left-hand side to Gilly. Gilly, back to the point. Odie over to Grim. Grim has space. He shoots back door as that one goes all the way back to Odie. Odie carrying in the middle of the ice, poked off by Blur and maybe a chance. As what a poke check by Grim as he stopped an opportunity there for Scary Hours as K-Cut trying to force his way into the zone. His partner Risto picks that up and takes it all the way back. Here goes K-Cut out of the zone for Scary Hours. Right-hand side, Gabze picks it up. Tries to dump that one in. Picked up by Blur. Goes up to Sitful. That's the man you want having the puck here if you're Scary Hours. Sitful curls around. Goes back into his own zone. Didn't like what he sees. And now K-Cut just taking his time here as it's only one shot to make a difference. Sitful. Back to the point to K-Cut. K-Cut over. What a glove save as Risto had a one-timer, but Reigns flashing the leather. McFlurry over to Gabze. Gabze has it poked off his stick by K-Cut, and K-Cut takes it down below the goal line and brings it out on the breakout. It's usually K-Cut or Odie for either of their respective teams as that one goes offside.
You know, Tegan, you can just tell these two teams, they are chomping at the bit to score that goal and not let this thing go any further. I don't think these two want the action to go any longer than it has to. You can just tell the aggression and the sense of urgency that both sides are playing with. I wouldn't be surprised at all if this goal happens in the next 5 minutes.
McFlurry intercepts that pass. And Grim works it out for Olympia. Over to Gilly. Back to Grim. Good give and go. He's forced to the right-hand side by Sifley. He curls. Shoots. It's loose in front. And Scary Joey with great rebound control. Picking that up. For Scary Hours. Blur on the right-hand side. In front. Scary Joey is at Blur. He scores! But they're gonna call it back. As I believe Sitful wanted to be involved somehow. As he bumped into the goaltender. And that one's no goal.
Oh, I don't know about that one, Tegan. I don't know about that one. You have to field for Scary Hours on that one. Olympia had to disallow goal in Game 3, and they were able to come back from it. Scary Hours going to have to do the same thing, but man, you just have to field the deflation for them to have that game winner taken off the board.
As Sitful, he wanted to be involved one way or another, Brandon. And he said, I'll come back and help you guys as we see a huge hit by Risto laying out Gilly. Maybe a bit of momentum there for Scary Hours. Sitful, he walks it right into the middle. Blur looking for Scary Joey is intercepted by McFlurry. Couple of good poke checks, jars that puck loose, and Sitful puts it back into his own zone for Scary Hour. Here's K-Cut. K-Cut dumps that one in. Sitful giving chase, looking for that chop play, but he's just going to force Grim into the boards, but Grim doing a great job to get it up to Gabs. Gabs, ahead. Gilly, McFlurry looks back door, nobody home. Here's Odie at the top of the circle. He fires, it's loose. Gabze tried to carry it and put it in. It's still loose. K-Cut grabs it. A shot on there by Gabze, and it's robbed by Bar Down Beauty.
And can we just give a tip of the hat to Bar Down Beauty for tracking that puck and seeing everywhere when it felt like it was bouncing everywhere and it was one bounce away from getting a rebound opportunity for Olympia, but Bar Down tracked it every single time, was able to scoop that up and cover it.
He fires that one on. It goes off a body and wide. Scary Joey gets it up to Arctic Blur over to Risto. Risto carries it into the zone for an easy entry behind the net and along the wall to Sitful and back to K-Cut. K-Cut. Oh, he was close there. Finally down to Sitful. Wraps it around for Joey. Joey looking to go behind the net to Blur. It goes all the way back to Risto, though. He slips a check. Lots of space. Fires, and it goes off of Joey once again. As Odie brings that puck out for Olympia. Dumps that one in. 2 minutes to go in the first overtime period in game number 4. Puck behind the net. McFlurry goes back to Grim. Grim. He's bodied off the puck, but stays on it. Ties up at the right-hand boards. Gabse, he comes in to get it. Gets it back to Grim as they are forced out by Blur. And both teams working so hard here. Olympia now gets it to Grim, and Grim brings it over the line. Down low to Gabse. Gabse has a bit of space. He curls in the right-hand corner. Tried to get it behind the net through Scary Joey, but couldn't get it through him. And Joey stops up behind the net behind, goes to K-Cut. K-Cut on the breakout here for Scary Hours. Through the middle to Scary Joey. Good trap here by Olympia. as Olympia dumps that one in. Giving chase is Gilly. It's going to be chopped out to Odie. Odie into the middle of Gilly. Poked off his stick, and in the corner now is McFlurry. McFlurry gets it down to Gabsy. Back to Grim. Grim hit hard in the back. And the puck comes loose, and here goes K-Cut, the defender. Nice little spin. Tried to sauce that one in, but Gabsy doing a good job on defense, but he's met by Sitful, and that puck pops into Scary Hour's bench with under a minute to go.
And this is going to be a lot of fun. The last minute here, we've seen a few goals in the series scored in the last minute of a period, but this time, the goal that goes in could be the one to win the game here for either of these two sides. Expect the aggression to keep up, as both these teams don't want this game to carry on any further than it has to.
Here goes Grim. Over to Odie. Odie has it poked off his stick. Gabsy there in good puck support. 30 seconds to go here in overtime period number 1. Blur ahead to Sitful. Back to Blur. He has Sit. Sit shoots, and it's off the side of the net. Pops back to Sitful. Sitful wraps that one around to K-Cut. K-Cut, Risto fires. Great glove save by Reigns.
And there may have been a bit of a deflection there. It looked like at first it was going to go low and then took a little bit of a tip at the end. Not really sure. Would have loved to get another look at that, but a chance there for Scary Hours, and maybe they can get something going on the offensive faceoff here. Let's see.
No offensive face-off doing there for Scary Hours. Olympia dumps that one in. First onto the puck is Olympia, but that one gets poked loose to Odie. Odie at the point for Olympia. 7 seconds to go. Down to Gilly. McFlurry. Back to Odie. Odie. Grim fired. He scores!
Grim with the game winner from the point. It's one of the stories that we talked about, Tegan, the way Olympia uses the defense on the offensive end to get themselves chances, and Grim with a blast of a slapper from the point ties this series up for Olympia 2-2. What a game and what a play from the longtime Olympia defenseman in Grim to put that one in. His first goal of the entire playoffs. It couldn't have come at a bigger time.
Well, I'll say it one more time, Brandon. If we would have known, we could have started here. As Olympia comes out, ties this series up 2-2 as they win Game 4 in this best-of-7 in overtime. Grim from the point in the dying seconds of overtime period number 1, Brandon.
And you know, Tegan, you said it. If we could have known, we would have started here. How fitting that throughout the Caps Gaming Showcase, these two teams got here by winning best of 3s. Now it comes down to a best of 3. Scary Hour is winning games 1 and 2. Olympia coming back and winning games 3 and 4, this time in overtime. Man, this series has been just about everything that we thought it would be. A lot of tight games, a lot of adjustments, the IQ, the experience, the skill, all coming to the forefront. Some great saves by both goalies as well. We've gotten a little bit of everything through 4 games, and we know that we are at the very least getting 2 more.
What a goal, Brandon. I've talked a lot about how Olympia love to use Odie and Grim back at the point to generate their offense, and there you see them do it in overtime to get that goal. And this team, the reason why they're the defending championships is because they keep themselves so composed. This is not a rookie team. This is a veteran presence that knows how to win hockey games here, Brandon, and they're continuing to show that as they're looking to defend their title now in a best of 3.
Yeah, and it's something that we have kind of mentioned a few times, the way Olympia, they're just able to respond to any situation, whether it's a situation where they have to come back, if it's a situation where they need that one goal and things are kind of at a stalemate and they need to push themselves forward for some momentum. And this time you have to remember they were up by 2 in late, or not late, but in the middle of the third period, that 10-minute mark, it was a 2-goal game. They were up 4-2, and all of a sudden Scary Hours gets that goal with 7 minutes left, and then Sitful comes in and ties it with 59 seconds to go. So this time they had a lead, lost it, and found a way to come back in and win that game 4. And I'm not sure what the thoughts are for Scary Hours, because you have to remember they thought they won this game 3-1. The disallowed goal that they said Sitful had the goaltender interference, you know, that one probably replaying in the minds of the Scary Hours team, maybe some deferring opinions on whether they thought that should have been disallowed or not. But what the stripe says is what goes. In this case, it was a disallowed goal. Olympia capitalized on the other end and found a way to tie the series up.
And just like that, we have 3 games left in this best of 7 series. And if you're saying, oh no, only 3 games, we have a little surprise in some threes that we're going to be calling you can enjoy as well, don't we, Brandon?
That is right. We might be wrapping up the Caps Gaming Showcase here tonight, but the action here at Caps Gaming is not wrapped up as we begin our Caps Gaming Threes Challenge here in just a little bit over a week's time, starting on March 19th and 20th for the Xbox One side, and March 26th and 27th for the Xbox Series X/S side of things. We will get to see the best threes teams face off, a 32-team challenge to see who will be able to claim that $1,500 prize pool per console over the course of a single week in the tournament. Once again, it will be capped at 32 teams per console, so make sure if you want to sign up or want to learn more about this tournament, go to www.rivalgames.com/tournaments in order to learn more and register your team for your selected console before it is too late. Limited spots, so if you want to participate, www.rivalgames.com/tournaments to learn more or register your team for either one of these consoles. And Tegan, I mentioned earlier, I know you're a big threes guy. Threes so fun to watch with the action and some of the skill that you can see these players put forth. Gonna be a lot of fun to get to watch some of that skill showcased here over the next few weeks and call this with you and Nick.
Hey man, I'm a big threes guy. I'm a big Caps Gaming guy. His money going out left, right, and center through esports, and that's something we love to see as we are here at the Caps Gaming Showcase North American Finals, presented by Leidos and powered by Leaguegaming, as we are tied 2-2 in this best of 7 series, Brandon, and we are going to be going right in to game number 5, and this is where it gets interesting, doesn't it?
Yeah, and now you kind of wonder where this thing goes. Scary Hours winning the first 2, looking dominant. Olympia responding in amazing fashion with a shutdown game 3 and a game 4 where we did see a little bit more action, but they were able to find a way to see things through and close that out to get the victory. So game 5, it's kind of up in the air. It's a clean slate. The first 4 games don't necessarily matter as much. You just got to win 2 of the next 3 and you will be the Caps Gaming Showcase champions for season 3. So a chance for our teams to kind of take a deep breath, reset, focus on the task at hand, and really now it's a clean slate like we mentioned, and it's anyone's to take.
Now, we've seen Olympia come back after a 2-0 series deficit. It's now up to Scary Hours. Are we going to see possibly some adjustments like we saw Olympia make that got them a couple of W's and took them into this best of 3, which started as a best of 7, them down by 2?
I think that we have already kind of seen those adjustments start to take the forefront. We mentioned game 3 and 4, obviously Olympia taking both games, but you can kind of see that things were starting to open up for Scary Hours in that game 4. The more the game went on, and game 3, only 2 shots on net with over 4 minutes time on attack. This time in game 4, that improved rather drastically. We kind of saw they started to get things going. They were getting chances. They were able to score 4 goals, which despite not getting the result, that was the most that they had scored throughout the entire series. As a matter of fact, 4 goals in the combined first 3 games, 4 in game 4 alone. So they've started to open up that scoring touch, starting to see itself as things go on, but it's just a matter of a chance here and a chance there being the difference in that last game. So we'll see what happens. We'll see some adjustments from Scary Hours, but I think that a lot of what they did in that game 4, they'll continue to do here in game 5.
I couldn't agree with you more, as you're going to want to get that puck to Sitful. Sitful has had a hand in, 14 of 15 goals in the last 15 goals from Scary Hours. He's definitely the guy you want to have the puck going forward, or at least having a touch on it.
Yeah, and you saw it right there. Obviously, Sitful, he was a catalyst for the Scary Hours team all season long, and he's been doing it again in the playoffs. He has 33 points in the playoffs. That's tied for the most, ironically enough, with Gabsy and with McFlurry, who, even though it was a little bit earlier, you cannot forget Gabsy, who really had a great game 4, had a hat trick in that game that really propelled them to getting that victory. So we talked a lot about Sitful, but do not forget Gabsy on the other side at left wing as well. He was a major reason Olympia were able to see this thing through. He really was the leader of the momentum that they had through the first and second period and early on the third. Those are the 2 that it feels like have the scoring touch and are really making their mark on this game.
Yeah, I can't be more impressed with these goaltenders either, Brandon, as they've definitely held their own. Bar down, Beatty, and Reigns doing a great job here through the first 4 games of this best-of-7 series.
Yeah, and it's like you said, we've just seen the momentum kind of sway from one side to the other. We saw Scary Hours start out really strong, a dominant game 1 performance, and then in game 2, Olympia kind of started to find their way back a little bit, but it wasn't enough to propel them to a win. Game 3, things stalled out for a minute, and then all of a sudden, late in the game, Olympia scores, and that's enough to pull them through. And then all of a sudden, in game 4, everyone is scoring. Sitful with a hat trick, Gabsy with a hat trick, and then at the very end, Grim with a big goal to give Olympia the win in overtime. So we've seen a little bit of everything. I expect that to continue, but now we're even. It's a clean slate, as we mentioned. This is anyone's series and anyone's championship to take. It's just a matter of who is going to step up in those big moments and who is going to seize that opportunity.
Olympia doing a fantastic job getting that puck back to the defense of Grim and Odie in the offensive zone. They love to work the puck back through them. That's how they got the overtime goal. Do we expect to see more of that as we carry on into this game number 5?
I mean, if it works, it works. They have seen success with that, and they saw it there again. And just being able to create those opportunities, it's so important in series like this, especially when you're playing a team of quality in the opposition like this. And we've seen that throughout the series. In Scary Hours is game 3, they only had 2 shots on net. That wasn't enough. They lost that game because of a lack of chances. In game 1, Olympia only 3 shots on net. They lost that game because of a lack of chances. And in both of those games, that team had more time on attack and miss than they did actual shots on net. It's so important to give yourself those opportunities because you never know what's going to happen. You never know what it's going to come to. After that, you might just see yourself with a second chance you can capitalize on. Do not be shocked if both of these teams would take advantage of that here in a big game 5 that could maybe kind of give a little bit of leeway to who wins the series.
Game number 5 in the Caps Gaming Showcase North American Finals, presented by Leidos, powered by Leaguegaming. I am Tegan. It's King Lime Blair. I am joined by Brandon B. Major Bigsby and, of course, the amazing Nick F5 Penguin DeMail behind the scene. As here goes Scary Hours versus Olympia. Scary Hours in the black jerseys, Olympia back in yellow. Here's Gabsy. Gabsy saucers that one into the middle. Bardown Beauty had to be sharp and probably good. He's feeling that one early.
You know, speaking of jerseys, and I have to give a shout out to Tris in the chat. The home team has won each game so far in this series. Obviously, Olympia, they wore the yellow jerseys in the first 2 games. It didn't work out too well for them, while in the purple jerseys at home, they won 2 in a row. So maybe a little bit of something there. We'll see. But I know Scary Hours, they're going to hope that trend continues here.
Sitful goes up the right-hand boards. Into the middle of the Arctic. Blur trying to get past Odie there. Odie with a quick little poke check, stripping him of the puck. And it's going to be brought in offside by Olympia.
And you know, it's going to be interesting. That first goal, I think, is going to be so big in this one. In a series and in a game where it's 2-2, momentum really for the taking, as we've mentioned a few times. That first goal could really get you going on the right foot and propelling yourselves forward to see it through and to really get things going in a positive direction. So look out for who scores the first goal. I wouldn't be shocked if both teams kind of start out aggressive and look to start things out high-flying here in this game.
Yeah, we saw a lot of backpedaling in game 3 and game 4, didn't we, Brandon? As both teams loved to trap up, it worked better for Olympia. We'll see if Scary Hours tends to put their foot on the gas like they did in game 1 and game 2. Risto tried to get that one through to Scary Joey and over the line, but Olympia is going to start from their own zone here in game number 5. Odie carries that one ahead. Nice move. Tries to get into the zone. Joey bumps him a couple of times, and Grim is going to have to start from his own zone now. Well, carried up by Grim. Good pass to McFlurry, who gets it over to Gabs. Gabs has it poked off his stick, and we might have a breakaway for Blur. Odie, what an interception as he stopped Scary Hours from getting a clean-cut breakaway as Blur was a step behind the defense. Odie. Up to Gabs, over to Gilly, to McFlurry, and what a save, bar down, but it trickles in, but we're getting another goal called back.
Yep, they're going to say goaltender interference right there on McFlurry, and it was a great chance there for Olympia. The defense turning into great offense. Odie and company denying Blur of the chance to go in and score potentially on Reigns, and they turn that into a chance on the other end, but unfortunately bumping into Bar Down Beauty, not going to allow that one to happen, so we will remain tied at 0-0.
Another goal called back. I don't think I've seen this many goals called back in a series in quite some time. K-Cut goes back to Blur. He takes a little fadeaway shot on, and Reigns has no problem with that one. Face off here in the offensive zone. We'll see Scary Joey against McFlurry. Olympia looking to win this one. His offensive zones are dangerous. As that one shot on, a little bit of a face-off play. Sitful. Downloaded. Joey brings it out front. That one's going to be taken away by Olympia. Gilly up the ice. Following up his McFlurry. Poke to the point, and Grimm has it out in the neutral zone. Here's Odie. Odie carrying it through the neutral zone, walking it in as he loves to break that puck in for Olympia. Risto the other way. Risto sauces that one down to Blur. Blur to Joey, and what a feed as Joey comes in and scores.
And unfortunately for Olympia, it hit off of McFlurry at the end there, so it's going to count as an own goal. But Joey, right place, right time, got to position to get that one in. Bounce or not, it's going to count for Scary Hours, and they take the lead 1-0 to get that coveted first goal we were talking about.
His great pass as well, and then another one as Sitful comes down on the backhand and makes it a 2-0 game.
And that is the wildest Omaha play I have ever seen. That was an absolute rocket that was put on, and maybe it'll be a nice little thanks to EA Sports on that one. I've never seen a puck just fly down the ice so rapidly the way that one did. Olympia probably not going to be happy with the way that one happened, but Scary Hours not complaining one bit, I assure you. Up 2-0 after 2 quick goals in about a 90-second span there, Tegan.
You know, Brandon, the best thing about online hockey is anything can happen. As we see Scary Hours come out to a 2-0 lead early here in game number 5, as they've lost the last 2. Here's Odie for Olympia, carrying it out through the neutral zone over to his partner Grimm. Ends up on the stick of Gabs, who gives that away to K-Cut, and K-Cut takes that back into Scary Hours territory and resets here. K-Cut takes his time, maybe getting some stamina for the guys up front. K-Cut, good pass to Joey. Poke checked off his stick is Grimm, the overtime hero in game number 4. K-Cut walks it through, dumps it in. Puck is going to be won by Grimm for Olympia, and he easily goes up the left-hand side to his partner, Odie. Odie drops that one back to the point to McFlurry. McFlurry goes back to Odie. Odie seems to be the quarterback here for Olympia. The man with it on the breakout, the man with it in the offensive zone as he forces Blur to the left-hand side, and just like that, he comes up with it. Here goes Odie, over to Gilly. Gilly on the left-hand boards, back to Odie, high to Grimm. Grimm and Odie switch sides, back down low to Gilly. Gilly spins, he's bumped hard off the puck by Risto. McFlurry fighting for it on the left-hand side with Blur, but it's brought in by McFlurry. Puck is loose. And that does it for the end of the period, Brandon.
And contrasting emotions for these two teams after that period. I'm sure Scary Hours feeling probably as great as ever with the way this one started out. A 2-0 advantage and 2 goals in really a short time span after things seem to be pretty even. And Olympia just have to feel just kind of, I guess, deflated with the way they won that game 4 to come in. Think they have the first goal of this game 5, it gets disallowed, and then Scary Hours just moments later scores 1 goal and then comes back on what was probably the wildest Omaha play I think you're ever going to see, and scores right back after. So from potentially being up 1-0 to being down 2-0, a huge shift for this Olympia team. It's gonna be really interesting to see how they respond, because that is a major shift in the way this one could have been going.
Yeah, the momentum really turns around, and that is a big part of the game here, Brandon, as we are here at the Caps Gaming Showcase North America Finals, presented by Leidos, powered by Leaguegaming. Scary Hours leading game number 5 here as the series tied 2-2, but Scary Hours leads this game 2-0. Here's Risto as he turns around, gets it up the right-hand side to Sitful. Sitful walks all the way in, but that one's a step offside.
And Sitful is looking to add another one to his tally right there. And, you know, Tegan, this next goal could be monumental for either of these two sides. Olympia, if they get it, you get yourselves back into this game. It's a 1-goal deficit, and you can kind of just fall back into playing the way you want to and just kind of calming that momentum down that seems to be going against them. While for Scary Hours, going up 3-0, hard to imagine this team losing that type of lead with how stout they are defensively and the way Bar Down Beauty has played back there in net. So we'll see if another goal comes through. We've seen some low-scoring games throughout the series with the exception of Game 4, but the next one could really be telling of the way this Game 5 or even the way this series ends up going.
Gabze drops that one back to Grim for Olympia, and he just fires that one all the way down. A little too far, though, Brandon, as that one is a step in the wrong way for icing.
Yeah, now Scary Hour is going to get a chance on the offensive zone faceoff. You know, we haven't really seen either team capitalize on plays from icings. Offensive zone faceoffs after that have not really led to good opportunities yet for either Olympia or Scary Hours. And unfortunately for Scary Hours, that trend going to continue there as Olympia gets it out and tries to attack for themselves.
Sitful tries to bring that one in. It's stolen by Grim. And Grim works the puck out. McFlurry over to Gabze. Gabze, oh, he got that one back to the point he thought, but that one went right through Grim's legs. Back down to Olympia territory. Through the middle, McFlurry. McFlurry comes over the line, tried a little L move to get around K-Cut, but K-Cut's got that poke check that saved the game in Game 3. Puck down the right-hand board, Sitful trying to get around Grim and can't, and it's played up and ahead to Gilly. Trying to wait for Gab to go back door. Pass to Odie is too far. And here goes Blur down the left-hand boards. He's got some speed. Self-sauces, wraps it around to Sitful. Sitful back to Blur, looking for a wraparound, but he shot it from behind the net, which had a chance. Puck carried up over the line, McFlurry. McFlurry still carrying into the corner. Gets around 2 checks, looks back door. It's loose in front and picked up by Blur. And it's a 3-on-2 here for Scary Hours. Over to Sitful. Sitful back to Joey. Fires and a good save by Reigns.
And Olympia going to need every big save from their stout goaltender and Reigns that they can get. We talked about how that next goal could be huge. Well, Reigns gonna not allow that one on that chance. He's gonna have to keep it up here if they want to stay in this one.
Face-off is tied up, and Odie comes up with the puck. Odie into the middle. Picked up Gabze. Gabze drops that one down to the left-hand corner. McFlurry back to the point to Odie. Odie fires. That one's blocked by Risto. Here comes Grim. He shoots. He scores! And what a goal by Grim to bring Olympia within 1.
You know, we kind of talked about for Scary Hours how Sitful always seemed to be the one scoring at the right time when his team needed it. How about Grim the last couple of games? Gets the game winner in Game 4 in overtime. Gets the goal to put it within 1 for Olympia here in Game 5. His second of the playoffs. They've both come at huge points for his team. As now Olympia right back in this game, Tegan.
What a gorgeous goal by Grim. He has the last 2 goals for Olympia as he scored the overtime winner in game number 4, and he's got the opener for his team here in game number 5, but Scary Hours still leading 2-1. Risto chases all the way back into his zone, picks that up and goes to his partner, K-Cut. K-Cut dumps that one in. Here goes Sitful giving chase. He's first onto the puck. Looks out front. Blur picks it up, goes back to Risto. Risto, oh, he was trying to hit Joey in the slot. But look out, K-Cut at the point almost had it stripped off his stick, and he's going to take it back into the zone here. K-Cut up the right-hand side. Sitful into the middle. The Blur backhand is robbed by Reigns, and Reigns continuing to play lights out. Never mind the score here, Brandon.
We said that's what they needed out of him. He showed up here in the second period. 2 or 3 big saves for Olympia as they try to get themselves back into this game.
Puck is going to be poked off. K-Cut. K-Cut curls around in the right-hand corner up to Risto. Risto comes over the line, and that's offside.
And 3:15 to go here in the second period. We saw in the last game, in Game 4, Scary Hours, they were able to get a goal late in the second to get themselves back into it. That really propelled some good momentum for them going into that third period despite the loss. Olympia going to look to do that same thing here to tie this up.
2 minutes to go here in the second period. Game number 5 in the finals as Risto Trying to go coast to coast like butter on toast there, but he was stuffed at the line. Odie looks to dump that one in, poked off his stick. Scary Joey goes up the right-hand boards to K-Cut. K-Cut spins out front. The shot is blocked by Odie. Has Odie been fantastic here for Olympia? Flower, also known as McFlurry, dumps that one deep. He gets it right back, and he's tripped up in front, and that might have been a great penalty. Grim poked off his stick. They have to watch him as he is a goal scorer here for Olympia. As Grim tried to put that one across, but it's going to be Olympia going to the power play to start the third period, and with 0.8 left to go on the clock.
You know, I love that you said that, Tegan. Maybe not a bad penalty for Scary Hours to take. Obviously, no team wanting to get into the box, but if you have to sacrifice that penalty to take away a clear-cut scoring chance for the opposition, more times than not, you're going to take your chances on trusting your team to kill off that penalty rather than allowing what would more times than not be a clear goal-scoring opportunity. So maybe not ideal to go into the box, but if you're not allowing Olympia to tie this up and you can get this kill off, might look like a strong penalty took there at the end of the day. As we go into the third period, Tegan, it's 2-1. It's a close game. It's going to be interesting to watch. This could very well be what sways the way the series goes. Scary Hours looking to see this one through and get to a 3-2 series lead, while Olympia looking to continue that forward momentum that they've gotten themselves going ever since Game 3. This is going to be interesting because this next period could very well tell us who is going to see this through and win this championship.
Amazing to see these goaltenders, Brandon. Only 9 shots in this game, and every save is a huge one.
Yeah, and both Reigns and Bar Down have been absolutely amazing. You can't undersell how big goaltending can be in these games, especially in situations where you are playing for a championship. The team on the other side has so much goal-scoring prowess to them, and both Reigns and Bar Down Beauty have made some huge saves to where more times than not, that goes in against most other goalies, but the goaltending for both of these teams have been so stout, they've denied some chances, so that's going to be something to look out for. Both Reigns and Bar Down stepping up big time for their teams.
Big power play here for Olympia to start the third period. It's loose in front and robbed by Bar Down Beauty as we talk about great goaltenders. As Olympia starting off period 3 with a power play here at the Caps Gaming Showcase North American Finals. We are in game number 5. Series tied 2-2. That one's over the line. It's offside. Scary Hours leading here in game number 5, 2-1. And a good kill to start things off here, Brandon, as we get a face-off out in the neutral zone. Sitful on the dot because Scary Joey is in the box, and it's going to be won by Olympia. They decide to go back to their own zone. Odie over to the left-hand side to Gilly, to Grim. Grim brings that one in. Down low, Odie fires, and good block, and K-Kite clears that one out, Brandon.
Yeah, another strong PK for Scary Hours. They've been amazing when shorthanded all series long. They do it once again there to maintain this lead.
Puck into the left-hand corner. McFlurry tried to wrap that one around. But a great job by the defense and goaltending of Scary Hours. Here comes Blur. Moves that to Sitful. Sitful looks for a wraparound. Great save by Reigns. And Sitful thought for sure he had the wrap. Couple of good poke checks by Scary Hours to keep Olympia out of their zone, and they give back the puck back to none other than Odie. Odie moves that one ahead. Blur tried to get that one out and get some offense going for Scary Hours, but it's right back onto the stick of Odie. Odie, easy entry ahead to McFlurry, and that one's poked wide. Sitful picks it up in his own zone, goes back to K-Cut. K-Cut ahead into the middle to Scary Joey. Joey. Odie now. Odie throws that one in, and it's over the glass.
And 13-12 to go here. Scary Hours is trying to hold on. Olympia trying to push back a little bit. A few chances for them, but Scary Hours with a big chance as well on the other end with that wraparound attempt from Sitful. Reigns all over it. The goaltending we talked about a little bit, showing up big right now in these types of games where a series could be swayed one way or another. A team up by 1, another down by 1. Bar Down Beauty being up, trying to keep his team ahead. Reigns trying to keep his team in the game. Could be fun to see if one of these teams break through or if the goaltending continues to steal the show and these two guys continue to make the saves they've made.
Here goes K-Cut now. K-Cut moves that one out over the left-hand side to Arctic Blur. Blur through the middle, Joey, and what a save by Reigns as he robs Joey in the backhand. 1-on-1. McFlurry looks to make that pass backdoor. Good pick off by Scary Hours. And here goes Risto up the left-hand boards. Risto Stops in the corner, wraps out around to Sitful. Sitful. Behind the net to Blur. Out front and they score! They get it to Scary Joey out front and he puts it in.
And that is a gigantic goal for Scary Hours and none other than the captain in Scary Joey to put that one through. And now they're in a very favorable position. A great play, that behind the net pass. Scary Joey would allow space to get that one off and he was right in position to take advantage of it. Now, just 10 minutes to go, Scary Hours looking really good to take this to a 3-2 series lead for themselves.
As we see Scary Joey getting his 10th goal by the Leaguegaming dynamic stat system, and it's a 3-1 game. Here's Risto. Risto dumps that one in backhand, and it's picked up by Grim. Grim over to the left-hand side. Odie brings that puck in as he usually does, but he's poked off by Blur. And here goes Blur. He's got Sitful, tried to thread it through, but Grim picks that off. Great defense by Olympia. Olympia gets it over to Odie. Odie battling for it, sauces that one down behind the net. It's back to Odie, over to Grim. Grim back down to Gilly. McFlurry. McFlurry puts it back to Grim. Grim just wrapping it around the outside to Gab as Olympia looking for the perfect pass. McFlurry in the left-hand corner. Back to Odie now. Odie shoots, and that one's blocked by Risto. Sitful trying to get it ahead to Blur, and they finally get it out, and Odie's going to have to reset, and Scary Hours can take a breath here, Brandon.
And I don't think they're going to get playing. They're up by 2, and the time is their friend with just 4 minutes remaining. They're just trying to hold on, not let Olympia get past them or get any quality opportunities. They're doing just that so far. A well-executed defensive display by Scary Hours right now.
Puck behind the net, put back up front, and they score! Gabsy picks that one up a broken play. It gives Olympia a chance.
And here we go. We saw Scary Hours come back from down by 2 in the third late last game. Olympia trying to do the same thing. We were saying how they were doing so well at not letting Olympia get past them. And right there, they create an opportunity. They get something in for themselves. And we have a game here, Tegan, with 2 to go.
Just like that, Brandon, we've got ourselves a game. Gabs is 19th of the playoffs. And only 1 goal separates these teams here in game number 5. Puck's going to be put down low. Sitful behind the net. Blur back to the point to Keika. Keika looked over to Risto, picked up by Scary Joey, tried to get it in deep and couldn't. Good job there by Odie. 1 minute remaining in game number 5. Gabsy fires, it goes wide. Picked up by Gilly in the right-hand corner. Back to Grim. Grim battling for it. K-Cut. K-Cut rips it around the outside. Odie to Grim. Grim fires, great save, bar down beauty! As he robs, absolutely robbed Gabsy backdoor.
And that might be the save we remember if Scary Hours is able to hold on to this lead and take this victory home. We talked about goaltending a lot in this period, how it could make a difference. Bar down beauty with a major save right there.
That one shot on backdoor and bar down beauty! Showing the acrobatics as he kicks the leg out backdoor to make a huge save. Odie over to Grim. McFlurry to Gabsy. Not much time left. Good interception by Risto. Odie, as he stops up at the hash marks, fires. Great save. McFlurry, backdoor poked off his stick. Will that do it? Grim shoots. It goes wide. And Scary Hours will take game number 5 in the Caps Gaming Showcase, which means they have 1 win to get themselves into the money.
And Olympia just so close to tying this game up, but bar down beauty with 3 huge saves to deny them, and in a few great defensive plays, being in position, picking the puck off before it could get on the stick of a couple of Olympia players that were in scoring position. A great 6-man effort to end it for Scary Hours, and just 1 win separates them from a championship here in the Caps Gaming Showcase.
Just one win, Brandon. That's even crazy to say, isn't it? As we have gone through 5 games here at the Caps Gaming Showcase, presented by Leidos, powered by Leaguegaming. As you see their amazing dynamic stat system come up in the top left-hand corner of your screen, as we'll get walked through these goals. And like you said, Brandon, we almost have a new champion this season.
That is right. We've said it a few times. Olympia, they're not unfamiliar with this situation, so they know how it is to have their backs against the wall. But Scary Hours, with how strong they're playing, to be able to get that win and just be one game, one victory away from taking home that championship, so huge for their chances. It's a tough task to come back from being down against a team like Olympia, to give yourselves that advantage of taking the series lead and now having 2 opportunities to win. So big. So a big game, a big victory for Scary Hours. And I think that all of the players for Scary Hours going to give a nice nod over to their goaltender back there in Bar Down Beauty, because some of those saves he made in the last minute, just wow.
Amazing saves, and you could say that at either end, Brandon. Reigns has been lights out for Olympia. They've loved to use Odie on the breakouts. They like to use Grim in the offensive zone, but it hasn't been enough against this amazing Scary Hours team, which has 1 win away from possibly getting themselves the money.
And I think that's something else that's kind of gone unsaid, is some of the defensive efforts from Scary Hours in terms of picking off plays in taking those lanes when Olympia's had some open chances. There have been a couple of times you saw it, especially there in the last about 15 to 20 seconds. Olympia had a lane to get the pass off, and it was like every time they had that there would be a defender from Scary Hours, whether it be Risto, whether it be Keika, whether Scary Joey comes down, or even a few times the wingers coming in and providing some of that support, knowing the situation. They just weren't able to get that clean look from one stick to another and connect on it to put that extra shot on. So Bar Down Beauty, he's been amazing, obviously, multiple huge saves, but have to credit the collapsing defense up close in front of the net of Scary Hours, denying Olympia of even more chances than what they've already had, especially there in the last minute or so.
Well, it's Olympia 2, Scary Hours 3, and we're almost wrapped up at the Caps Gaming Showcase Finals here at North America. But don't worry, there's more of us in the Caps Gaming to come, as there's a threes challenge coming up here, Brandon.
That is right. We are not done here at Caps Gaming, as the threes challenge here by Caps Gaming, presented by McDonald's of DMV, is going to be starting here soon, as we get to see some of the best threes teams face off on both Xbox One in one weekend and the Xbox Series X/S on the other. We are opening sign-ups right now, so you can sign up if you want to participate. If you feel you have a squad that is able to go out there and win that $1,500 prize, make sure you go to www.rivalgames.com/tournaments to enter and find out more information. Just 32 spots left, 32 spot tournament rather. So if you want to participate, make sure you sign up now, www.rivalgames.com/tournaments, to learn more about the tournament or enter your team for a chance to win.
As there might be some amazing surprises in that tournament as well, as there's been some great stuff here from Caps Gaming, as zip chairs going out the door, scuff controllers going out the door, a lot of happy people here at this amazing tournament, Brennan.
And you can't blame them. We have 2 great teams, 12 amazing players playing, and the games have been great. We got to give away that Scuff gaming controller earlier. Congratulations again to CAD for winning that. And now we have more to look forward to. 1, potentially 2 more games here in our last series of the Caps Gaming Showcase. And then obviously in a couple of weeks' time, we get to call the Caps Gaming Threes Challenge as well, presented by McDonald's DMV. So a lot to look forward to here at Caps Gaming, a lot going on. Have to show the love over to everyone at Caps Gaming that puts on these events, organizes these, the sponsors that put their brand out there to support, and it's just amazing to see all of this play out. But we have a game getting ready to go here, Tegan. Game 6, Scary Hours looking to take home the trophy and close things out. The defending champions looking to keep their crown and push this to a Game 7.
Game number 6 at the Caps Gaming Showcase North American Division Finals. Scary Hours in white, Olympia in purple. Scary Hours needs 1 win, Olympia needs 2. The remaining defending champions with their backs against the wall. Here comes Grim. as the home team trait continues that we saw from Triss in the chat. Odie intercepts that one in the neutral zone, and it's moved over to Gilly. Fires! Great save, bar down beauty, and he steers that one over the glass.
We're not even a full 2 minutes in, and Bardown already continuing the great saves and the great playmaking ability in terms of being able to make those gigantic saves for his team that we saw there in Game 5. Another big one, this time a little bit earlier. We'll see if Scary Hours can take advantage of that and get a score.
There's another offside here. What do you think we expect to see from Olympia as their backs against the wall here, Brandon? Are they going to continue that trap-style hockey?
I think you have to. It's worked so well for them, even despite the loss in the last game. It's not really like Scary Hours was just being able to have that easy time of breaking through. They had to work for it, especially considering how things were going in games 1 and 2. So in terms of the trap, I think they keep that up. As you can see, they're continuing to sustain that right there. Just the big thing, how can you break things open and continue that offensive momentum to get some goals for yourselves?
Here's the dump in that Scary Hours have used so well. K-Cut comes up with it, fires it on, good block by Grim, but here's Sinful with a point-blank shot, and he's robbed by Reigns.
And no surprise, Reigns with a big save. We've talked about Bar Down a good bit. We've talked about Reigns for a good bit. We get to mention him here again as a big save from one side, a big save from the other right there.
Shot on, and they score! K-Cut from downtown, making it known from the back end, Brandon.
And both defensemen for Scary Hours have scored a goal now in this series. We saw Risto score the game winner in Game 2, and K-Cut gets the scoring starter for Scary Hours in Game 6. A great shot, perfectly placed, all the way from the deep part of the point, and his team in Scary Hours now lead 1-0 to get the scoring started in Game 6.
Great goal by K-Cut. He's been very good in the defensive zone. It's nice to see him activate in the offensive zone and help out his boys. Puck over to the right-hand side. Scary Joey comes over the line. He gets that puck back after Grim poked it away. Blur over to Sitful. He fired that one on. Odie blocks it. What a defenseman Odie's been for Olympia in this series. Good bump by K-Cut. Sitful gets that ahead to Blur. Back to Sitful in the give and go. Sitful stops up. Goes around to Scary Joey. Scary Joey, Blur. They score! Blur, back door. Makes it 2-0 early.
And Scary Hours, just like in Game 5, a little deja vu, a 2-0 lead with 2 goals in a matter of just minutes for their team. And now they really have to be feeling good about their chances. Still early, Olympia, a lot of time to get back into this game, but you can see on the right side, they're feeling a little bit frustrated. They're not liking how this is going. Scary Hours, all the momentum right now, have to like the position they're in.
Frustration coming out as we see it from Olympia, but they are calm, cool, and collective. That's why they are the defending champs. But Arctic Blur coming out with a huge goal, his 16th of the playoffs, as you see in the Leaguegaming dynamic stat system. And well, Scary Hours is really pushing their way to the championship here at the Caps Gaming Showcase, North America. Olympia backs against the walls as that face-off is tied up. Olympia works the puck through the neutral zone. Grim dumps that one in. Chopped over to the left-hand side. It's going to be just moved out here by Scary Joey. Right-hand side to Sitful. Poked off his stick back to K-Cut. K-Cut, nice move as he gets it into the zone with an easy entry, but he's hit hard on the right-hand side. And Gabsay gets up. He's one-on-one forcing against Sitful, who is a forward on that side, and he walks in, he scores! And the pinch by K-Cut ends up costing Scary Hours, and Olympia's right back in the game.
And that's a huge goal there from Gabs, able to walk in and get that clear-cut chance on Bar Down Beauty, as we will see another timeout here from Scary Hours, I believe. But that's a big goal there for Olympia. Down 2-0. You could sense the frustration from Olympia. They needed that goal to get things back on track, get some momentum back going their way, and they do it right there on the stick of Gabsy. It could not have come at a better time, and they needed that goal. If they go down 3-0, you do not like their chances. But now, a whole new situation, 2-1. You just need one to tie it up. And Olympia right back in this game just moments after going down by 2.
Brandon, we see those goals go in all the time on the short side. There you get close quarters activated, and those pucks end up going through goalies. And now we've got ourselves a 2-1 game. A nice little cut by Sitful as we see the timeout called. Sitful fires from point blank again, and Reigns makes his second point blank save off of Sitful.
And that was huge. We know how great Sitful is at usually being able to score those, but it's always fun when a great goalie and a great scorer match up head to head. We saw it right there. Sitful with the chance, but Reigns winning that battle.
Puck is going to be played out front. It goes to the side. Odie now working it out for Olympia. Odie bumped off the puck. He takes it back into his own zone. Goes to McFlurry, up to Gabsay, back to McFlurry. McFlurry, nice move to gain entry. Opens up space. Tried to get a pass through, but it's picked off. Here's Gabsay all alone, and he's tripped up. Will we see a penalty shot? No, it will be a power play here for Olympia.
I know Olympia probably would have preferred the penalty shot, but still not a bad thing whatsoever to get a power play when you're starting to get something going for yourselves. They're down by 1. Here's a big opportunity for them to tie this game up with a power play goal.
Puck back to the point is going to be D2D. Odie over, big blocker saved by Bar Down Beauty. Odie switches sides with his partner Grim. Grim fires, great save by Bar Down Beauty. And I want to touch on something in the chat where people are saying, you know, they're seeing players on either side get frustrated. Like there's been a lot of weeks that these players work very hard to get here. There's a lot of money on the line. And, you know, the championship of this Caps Gaming Showcase is important to every single player here. So you definitely will see their hearts on their sleeves and the frustrations come out as Grim tries to play that one through the middle. Sitful intercepts and sends it all the way down the ice. And that one's steered aside by Reigns. Odie over to Gilly. Gilly on the left-hand side, poked off his stick. Risto battling. Wraps that one around behind the net. And K-Cut dumps it all the way down. And Brandon, there's nothing like seeing emotion from these guys, right?
Yeah, and I think you touched on it perfectly, Teagan. You have to remember, we started this tournament December 5th. 3 months of time and effort that these guys have put into it. And not only that, but that's not even just including this tournament. The time these guys spend practicing together, getting that chemistry, getting things locked in, they're going to be passionate when they're so close to winning that championship, winning that large prize pool, $20,000 on the line here today. You have a team in Olympia looking to go back-to-back. Scary Hours looking to get back on the mountaintop to win another championship. These guys are wearing their hearts on their sleeves, and it's been a really close and really tight series, and that just kind of explains why these guys are reacting the way they are. A lot on the line, and it means a lot to all these guys. You can really tell.
That's right. Like 7,500 is great and all, but nothing is as good as the Caps Gaming Showcase Championship. As Sitful picks that puck up, and he goes into the middle of the Scary Joey. That one's picked up by Grim. As here's Gilly. And that one is going to be interference here. We're going to see a 2-minute power play to Scary Hours.
Yeah, and this is big for Scary Hours. You saw Olympia, they were able to get back in this game, not necessarily able to capitalize on their power play, so we'll see if Scary Hours can do that and get back to that 2-goal deficit. Every chance, every opportunity, so big to take advantage of. We'll see if they can do it right here and extend that lead.
Puck over on the left-hand side. Scary Joey now brings it up for Scary Hours as they're in the power play, but they are offside. All right, face-off in the neutral zone. 50 seconds to go. Scary Hours here on the power play. They lead 2-1 in the game and 3-2 in the series. K-Cut coming into the right-hand boards. Looking for a cut play. Doesn't like what he sees. Goes back to Sitful. Sitful switches spots with K-Cut and goes back to him. K-Cut with the puck now. Switching sides with Bristow. He fires, and what a save by Reigns, as that was a tough shot to stop. Sitful on the hash marks. Back to K-Cut. K-Cut back door. Risto now. It's still loose. Joey trying to fire, and chaos at the end of the period. But Olympia escapes, only being down by 1.
Chaos, the perfect word there, Teagan. That was close there for Olympia. You know, Scary Hours, they are absolutely chomping at the bit to try to get this back to a 2-goal lead and put themselves just a little bit closer to that $10,000 prize pool for their teams. Just 20 minutes separating them from that. We'll see if they can do it, but Olympia trying to get something going here. They had a few chances, Bar down denying them of some of those opportunities, and now it just becomes a matter of who can take advantage of their chances, who cannot make those mistakes, who can come up with those big plays in those big situations. There's 20 minutes, $10,000 on the line, and a championship on the line, and Scary Hours trying to finish the thing out and get themselves that glory.
Thank you so much. He is Brandon B. Major Bigsby. Behind the scenes, we have the amazing and wonderful producer and man of many talents, Nick F5 Penguin DeMeo. I am Tegan. It's King Line Blair, and here we go. Period number 2 in the Caps Gaming Showcase Finals. Game number 6, where Olympia trying to defend their title with their backs against the wall. Puck moved up. That one's going to be offside here, Brandon.
Yeah, now for Olympia, looks like they're in a pretty good position to kill this penalty off. 13 seconds left, obviously. A lot can happen. You can get at least one chance for Scary Hours, but gotta feel good here if you're Olympia. If you kill this thing off, then you just have to try to focus on getting that goal, being aggressive, and trying to see themselves to tie this game.
Here's a good start as they kill that one off, and not if Scary Joey has anything to say, as he walks right out with a commanding goal for Scary Hours.
We said they can get a chance with 13 seconds, and it might have not been in 13, but it was pretty darn close to about 15 or 16 seconds. Right as Olympia gets back to 5-on-5, Scary Hours drives in front, gets a good shot on range, and puts it through. And Scary Hours back up to that 2-goal lead. Olympia were so close to coming back from 2 down the last game. They're going to look to get a little bit further than that and tie this game this time around with their backs against the wall and their season on the line.
Not a lot of goals by Scary Joey in the playoffs, but he sure has a lot in this series. As Blur out front is Sinful. It's in, but it's going to be called back as we see another goal. No, it's good. And Scary Hours get another one. It's 4-1 with Sinful scoring from Blur, and I believe that is going to be Scary Joey.
Wow, and that is absolutely huge. That might be the goal that wins this championship for Scary Hours, but we've seen Olympia pull off comebacks before. They'll have to pull off a big one here with 16 to go in the second quarter.
Yeah, we've seen this lots before. Sitful getting his 24th of the playoffs, and what a clutch player he's been for Scary Hours. But don't take this away from Olympia. Olympia has done this before, and they can do it again. Sitful comes down the right-hand boards, has Scary Joey ahead. Scary Joey stops up, waits, goes down low to Sitful. Sitful fired that one on. It's going to be blocked, and the puck's going to be carried out. Gabsay over to Gilly. Gilly spin, tried to find McFlurry. He's going to have to go back to Grim, and Olympia resets here in this 4-1 game. Olympia feeling the pressure, backs against the wall here at the Caps Gaming Championships. Here goes Sitful with a step. Grim pokes it off his stick. Grim brings that puck out for Olympia now. Dumps that one in left-hand side. Olympia is offside. They touch up and try to get a whistle to win a face-off. So we get a face-off in the neutral zone here. That one's going to be tied up. Gilly comes over. Gives that one back to Grim. Into the middle. McFlurry. Got that one over to Gabsay, but it's going to be taken away by Scary Hours. Nice pass from Sitful to Risto. Risto out front, nobody home. Puck picked up here on the sidewall by Blur. Blur has a little bit of room. Gets that one down low to Joey. Joey just skates it around the outside. Goes back over to Blur. Back to Joey behind the net. Joey rips that one around to K-Cut at the point. D-to-D over to Risto. Risto wraps that one all the way around down low. Sitful giving chase, decides to go back. And puck into the middle to McFlurry. McFlurry onside, tried to play that one ahead, but he's poked off. Good defense by Scary Hours. McFlurry back to Grim. He fires on, good block by Sitful. McFlurry, another big block by Blur as Scary Hours forwards coming back to help out. McFlurry tried to spin one into the middle as the urgency starting to pour out of Olympia early here. Puck behind the net is Risto. Over to Blur. And here goes Odie out of the zone. He's been the one carrying it out for Olympia. McFlurry looked over to Gabsay. Good job by Sitful in the defensive zone. Puck's brought over the line, poked off, and here goes Odie the other way. Odie has it poked off his stick. Good defense here by Scary Hours. Grim now looking to dump that one in. Left-hand side, no offside this time, and Gilly's first on the puck. Here's Risto. Puck in the left-hand corner, back to the point. Here's out front. Gilly all alone with a poke check by Scary Joe as he got there first. McFlurry tried to send that one out front, but Risto with a good interception. Here goes K-Cut. He's got Sitful up ahead and hits him. Sitful fires, and that one's off of Rain's glove and over. Here comes Joey now. Joey out front to Sitful. Backhand. It's loose. Backdoor. Blur scores! His second of the game. It's a 5-1 game for Scary Hours.
A few shots on net, a couple of bounces in the right direction, and Scary Hours sees the biggest lead that either team has seen all series long. A 4-goal lead, 22 minutes and 11 seconds separate them from the Caps Gaming Showcase Championship. We'll see if they can finish this thing through, but you have to imagine, Tegan, they're in a great position to do so.
Lots of time left for Olympia. It's a great diving play by Bar Down Beauty to keep this a 5-1 game. K-Cut into the middle of Scary Joey. Scary Joey, left-hand side to Blur. Blur's tripped up by Odie, and Odie's going to go sit for 2 with 11 seconds to go in the second period. We'll get an offensive zone face-off here. Like I said, 11 seconds remaining here. Period number 2. 5-1 game. Olympia with their backs against the line. Risto. K-Cut fires. That one's picked up by Gabs. He's not going to have enough time, so he just stops up. And, well, Brandon, I don't think anybody expected this here in game number 6.
Not at all. Dominant form right now for Scary Hours. And that last goal, you can maybe debate the bounces there, giving them some help, but they were able to put shot on shot on shot, giving themselves chances, giving themselves opportunities. And Tegan, it's something you and me mention a lot. You never know what's going to happen if you give yourselves those shots. You never know where the puck's going to fall. It might just end up on your stick, and you might just have an open net in front of you. And Scary Hours with a huge 5th goal to put themselves up by 4. We've seen some wild stuff from Olympia. We've seen them pull off these comebacks, but they really have their work cut out for them. Down by 4, 20 minutes to go. This is going to be really tough, but if they were to come back, this would be quite the historic win for them. But Scary Hours looking well on to potentially clinching their first Caps Gaming Showcase Championship.
As Olympia was the defending championships, they look to continue to defend that title. It is only 5-1. We have seen crazier things. It is the Caps Gaming Showcase Finals game number 6 here in North America, where Scary Hours is leading the series 3-2. They are leading the game 5-1. Olympia in purple, Scary Hours in white, and that's a good start there for Olympia to build on here, as they don't have to kill off a penalty. Odie's going to be in the box, though, but it'll be 4-4 hockey, Brandon.
You know, they're going to need a rising tide, but Olympia, one of those teams to where if they just get those 1 or 2 plays to go their way and capitalize on them, they can turn the momentum in an instant. That could be a big one there. They turn their penalty kill into 4-on-4 action. More space on the ice for a team with a lot of skill. Let's see if they capitalize.
Here's Gabsay. Gabsay fires that one on. It's blockered away. Here's Grim. Grim goes over and gets a retrieval pass. Grim with lots of time and space here. Looking back door, it's going to be sauced all the way back out to the neutral zone, and Gilley is going to have a chance to bring it in. Gilley into the middle to Grim. And good pick off by Sitful. He has been amazing in this series. As here comes McFlurry. Shot on! And that one's picked off by Sitful. Sitful ahead to Risto. Risto carrying it down with speed in the third period. Puts it in behind the net. Here's Blur, as we have a power play here for Olympia, only for 15 seconds. And we'll be back to 5-on-5, 6v6 hockey, as my good friend Nick F5 DeMail behind the scenes would say. Is Sitful over on the left-hand side, picked up in front. Gilly with a shot is going to be poked away. And here goes Blur. Blur stops up in the neutral zone, taking his time. And the slow game is exactly what Scary Hours wants right now. Isn't it, Brandon?
A 4-goal lead, time is your friend, and you don't have to score another goal if you're Scary Hours. You just have to get that defense locked down. Bardown's been amazing back there. Just can't let Olympia get things going for themselves. And right now, they're just letting that clock drain, playing that slow game, controlling the possession, and just not letting Olympia get those chances on. They can continue to do that. They're looking well on their way to a championship.
Yeah, and like Brandon said earlier, guys, we want to remind you, you get in touch with these players, you get to feel what they're feeling, and, over 3 months of playing together, hard work, you definitely want to come out in front of a big group of people and get a W here. So, like anybody, you're competitive, you want to play this game, you want to come out with a win, no matter if you're playing pubs or if you're playing here. So, it's nice for these guys to put the cameras on and give us a touch on the inside. It's Scary Joey now in the left-hand corner. Gets that in behind the net. Back to Blur. Scary Joey wraps it around to Sitful. Sitful. Back down to Joey. Joey goes back to the point to Risto. Risto drops it down to Blur. Blur puts that around the outside. With 11 minutes to go, Olympia needs 4. Puck's brought over the line. But not enough for Olympia. Odie starting from his own zone. Odie coming in, walks his way in, goes over to Gabsy. Gabsy in front, nobody there. As that one goes all the way back out to Odie. Poked off by Sipple, but Odie gets it right back and puts it down low. Risto bumped off of the puck, but that doesn't matter. He gets it right back from Blur, who sends it up to Joey. Joey 2-on-0 with Sidful, but what a back check by McFlurry to keep Olympia in this third period. They've got 8 minutes. They need 4. Grim sends that up the left-hand boards. Good pick off there by Blur. Only man back is Odie. Odie over to Gabsy. He's loved that pass. Gabsy into the middle is picked off by Scary Joey. Scary Joey drops that behind the net, poked away by Kate. Cut picked up. Now McFlurry shot on, and Bardown Beauty with a great blocker save. And we'll see Blur for an Omaha play here. Tried to get that one in front, but he's bumped off of the puck. Blur with it behind the goal line. Out front to Joey, and he scores! What a goal by Scary Joey.
And if there were any doubt, Scary Joey just put them to rest with that goal. A great play there on that pass over to Joey. Nothing but space and a goaltender for him to beat in front of him. He did it right there. 6-1 for Scary Hours, and they are en route to win the Caps Gaming Showcase in Season 3.
Scary Joey with his 11th of the playoffs. As we see from Leaguegaming's dynamic stat system in the top left-hand corner of your screen. 6-1. Scary Hours, a dominant Game 6 here from Scary Hours. As Risto still intercepting pucks in front of his net. Goes up the left-hand side to Blur. As McFlurry drops that one back to Odie, and it's going to be carried in by Olympia. They give it right away to Sitful, and Sitful comes down the right-hand boards. He cuts! As he had Joey along the cut across the top of the crease. Couple of good bumps. Gilly with it now. Gilly gives that over to Gabs. Gabs, little jump deke. Ahead to Grim. Picked up by Risto and Brandon. As we get down to the very end here. 1 minute remaining. 6-1 game, Scary Hours.
And Scary Hours, it looks like they're going to win this championship. And it's well-deserved. You assume they'll see this one through up by 5. But the way that this team has played, they've been the dominant team to beat all regular season long. We talked about before the season started, these two teams potentially being here, teams like Olympia, Scary Hours, Prodigy, Isles GT. These are the teams that we expected to be here. Scary Hours, they were undefeated in the regular season up until the very last week, and they continued their dominant form in the playoffs, beat a really good Olympia team here, beat a few really good teams in the rounds before, especially in the last two. And they're on their way to winning the Caps Gaming Showcase, Tegan, and it's hard to debate. It's well-deserved for them.
As puck is going to be brought in with under 30 seconds to go. And Risto getting a chance at a breakaway here. The defensive Risto all alone, but he can't beat Reigns in the dying seconds. As he wanted that one. Here comes Gilly. Gilly across the top, fires, and that one goes wide. Bardown Beauty is going to hold on to that. We have 10 seconds to go here in the third period, Brandon.
Yeah, and kind of, and we're seeing some of the celebrations already starting to begin here on the left side from Scary Hours, but just a great performance from them here to close this one out. It's so hard to shut a team like Olympia down and get them out of a series. They win this one convincingly, something so tough to do against this team, but they do it here, Tegan. Great for them.
2 seconds to go, 1 second, and that does it! Your Caps Gaming Showcase North American Champions is Scary Hours! And they definitely deserved it here, Brandon.
They do indeed. They win the series 4-2. They started out up 2-0, and then Olympia getting that pushback, winning game 3, winning game 4 in overtime, and you just kind of felt like, man, is Olympia gonna do it again? Are they gonna find that way to come back and take control of this series? But Scary Hours just responding, not letting things overwhelm them, coming up with those big plays at those big moments on the defensive end, some of the saves from Bar Down Beauty, and then they go in game 6, take this thing from really the puck drop on down and just really put it to a really good Olympia team that we know knows how to show up in these elimination games. So a great job by Scary Hours, a great season from Olympia, and congratulations to these guys. It's hard to debate that the most deserving team did win. This was the best team in the regular season. They were consistent in the playoffs, and they did it again here in the finals.
And there you see your 6 champions from the Caps Gaming Showcase North America. These gentlemen are going to be walking away with $7,500. And congratulations as well to Olympia, as they were the defending champions, and getting themselves to the finals 2 seasons in a row is a great, great defeat, as they take away $2,500. But Scary Hours is going to be the champions all in all. And we'd love to congratulate Blur, Scary Joey, Sidful, Risto, K-Cut, and Bar Down Beauty on their massive championship here, Brandon.
Yeah, and this is a big championship here for Scary Hours, a team that has been in this situation before. Obviously, a few of these guys, especially in Blur and Joey, they were on those Vertigo teams that in NHL 20, NHL 21, they were just dominant, it felt like. They were winning seemingly every tournament that they entered, and they kind of saw that bit of a reshape after the Caps Gaming Showcase last season, turned into Scary Hours, brought in K-Cut, brought in Bar Down Beauty and Net. Risto comes in this season, and it was just a great team effort. Like we said, they were dominant from week 1. They continued it all the way. That consistency was key for them, and they earned themselves the right to call themselves champions here in the Caps Gaming Showcase.
And just an amazing, amazing job there by Scary Hours. Is a very, very tough team to come out to and play against and get a W. Is obviously Olympia was looking to go back to back, but couldn't end up doing so, with Scary Hours winning 4-2, Brandon.
Yeah, and you have to give Olympia a lot of credit to get to this point with the challenges they faced these playoffs, facing a really good red light team in the second round, getting past Devon 5, coming back from down 2-0 against Prodigy, completing the reverse sweep to get to this point, and then last week beating an Instinct team that was the #1 seed. Looked like they were primed and ready to avenge their finals loss last season and be at this stage, and found a way to get it done then as well. And then obviously today, they were down 2-0, found a way to get back in it. Just unfortunately, Scary Hours a little bit too much for them, finding a way to win in game 5, and then in game 6, really just taking control of the game from the get-go, and it was enough to carry them through. And just a great performance there from Scary Hours to win this one, and congratulations to them and all their players. Really, really well deserved.
Congratulations to Olympia as well, walking away with $2,500, second place. They did a very good job coming back from a 2-0 deficit in the start of the series there, Brandon, where Scary Hours came out and won 2, but they just weren't able to close it out. As Scary Hours was just an amazing display of esports hockey to come out with, through Sipful, through Scary Joey, Blur, the whole team, and Risto, K-Cut, Bar Down. They all did their part to come out with a championship and a huge W and $7,500, Brendan.
Yeah, and I think that's the big thing too. Obviously, the $10,000 prize Olympia going to go home with a little bit of money, 2,500. But you said it there, scary hours. Every single one of these players stepped up at one point or another in the series. You can go back to, for example, Risto, his game-winning goal in Game 2. Some of the stops that K-Cut was able to make in all of these games. Bar down Beauty, how many big saves did he make in the series? And obviously, Blur and Sidful, so many big-time goals they score. And Scary Joey might not be the highest goal scorer on this team, but it just feels like he's always there at the right place at the right time, both ends of the ice. That two-way game he plays so well, and he has that ability to score that big goal when needed as well. So everyone on Scary Hours contributed so much to this run. All of them played so well, executed their game plan perfectly, were able to adjust when needed to, and it all leads to that $7,500 that they get here tonight and the championship over Olympia in a 4-2 series win.
And you guys ask, we deliver. We have a K-Cut interview coming right up. We see you guys asking for it in the chat, and we will have it coming right up here shortly. As what a great game or set of games by Scary Hours here at Brandon. And we have more finals from the Caps Gaming Showcase as we have EU coming up at 1 o'clock Eastern time this Saturday.
Yeah, that's right. We might be done here on the North American side of things, but next week, 1 p.m. Eastern, we get H-Reds versus Havu Gaming, two of the best teams, two of the most consistent championship-winning teams that Europe has to offer. They will get their chance to win the first ever Caps Gaming Showcase on the European side of things. You know, that's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Those two teams, they want it bad, and they have that experience of winning that championship. So a little bit different being able to be the first team in Europe to win the Caps Gaming Showcase. Should be a lot of fun to see those two teams face off.
All right. So, Brandon, I believe that we do have K-Cut available with us now. I'll let you start.
Yeah, K-Cut, congratulations, man. Firstly, a well-deserved series win for you guys. Obviously, you started up 2-0, but Olympia able to claw their way back into the series. What was the message? What was the feel when things got tight and you needed that big Game 5 win?
Man, this game is so mentally taxing. It's actually insane. Like, that's what people don't get. Like, both teams get bounces, right? Like, both teams score bad goals. You just have to move on to the next play. You have to talk through things with your team and communicate with each other on what you want to do and how to execute. And you just have to remain calm because the game is insane.
Yeah, we're noticing it's very insane, taxing on you guys. We definitely see the stress levels from going up 2-0 K-Cut to Olympia coming back and tying that game 2-2. What was said in your guys' party when Olympia came back and you guys were going into Game 5 needing a couple of wins to close out this championship?
You know, we just took every game as a best of one. That's really all it was. It was a BO3 from then on, but you know, every game was a best of one. I think Tris said something about the home team had won like all these games in a row. So we had to, in Game 6, we had to break that curse. And like I said, it's just about remaining calm, picking each other up. Like when someone makes a mistake, you pick someone else up. Like I made a mistake in that game. We were up 3 or 4 goals. Bar down gets a flying poke check. You know, that they could have been only down 2 or 3 with whatever it was, with how many times. It's you got to pick each other up and stay calm.
Yeah, absolutely. And something that was a story, not just for you guys in this finals, but all season long, just the efforts that all 5 of you guys made defensively to really just keep teams at bay and not allowing them to get those high quality opportunities. And even when they were able to get past Bar Down Beauty, so good in that with multiple huge saves. What was the key to that defensive success for you guys, especially against an Olympia team that's been doing this for so long and always seem to find a way to score?
Yeah, first of all, shout out to Olympia. Like, they're insane. Like, you can see why they've been on top. You know what I'm saying? They're an insane team. They went down 0-2, didn't even blink, came right back just like that. But like I said, you just have to buy in defensively, and you have to make adjustments on the fly. If you see something ain't working, whether they started getting in too easy, you know, you got to make an adjustment. Tell your wingers, hey, you guys do this, and I'm doing that. You have to make adjustments on the fly in this game because teams are smart, especially Odie and Graham. They're smart. They notice stuff. They make changes too. So, gotta always adjust.
Yeah, you guys definitely did a lot of adjustments, probably multiple adjustments throughout that series, which was just so fun to watch. And speaking of adjustments, how about your center, Scary Joey? A lot of scoring from your wingers in Blur and Sitful throughout the playoffs. But Scary Joey, how about him showing up here in the finals and putting the puck in the back of the net here for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, everyone knows Trev is a top center. My opinion, best center in the game. More so, he's known for his defense, right? So like he's always
Right.
going to be showing up on D. But the forwards were able to really work together, and keep in mind we've been a team for only 6 months, right? So we're getting better and better and better, and those forwards are getting better at finding Trev in the middle, like rimming it around. Behind the net is so hard to defend in this game, so the wingers, are just getting pucks to the front. That's what the game is. They were finding Trev in good spots, close quarters. He's, played well. Those forwards played amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something we talked about too. Just the two-way ability of Joey, just his ability to not just contribute offensively, but to play so stout defensively. I'm sure that really
Yep.
helps you guys all out
What
a
he's
lot.
known
But,
for. Yep.
yeah, so just one final question. Obviously, you kind of mentioned it. Just being a team officially for 6 months, obviously, a few guys coming over from Vertigo and a couple of other transfers in as
Yeah.
well. But here you guys are on top at the summit, knocking down a team in Olympia that's been dominant seemingly for the past year. The defending champions, too, looking to go back to back, and you denied them and were able to win that championship.
Man.
How does this feel for all of you guys to
Man,
have that success and really get there?
it feels amazing. Like I've been playing for shout out to Hendry, first of all. He gave me a chance on right D in NHL 19. I feel like I've been so close so many times. It was so refreshing to get a team change with these guys. Me and Sit came over from BBB, linked up with a couple other guys, and it just so refreshing, and it just feels absolutely amazing to knock off the top dog and hopefully, take the torch and run this thing up. That's just one.
Well, the torch is yours for now, K-Cut. Hold that thing
Let's go,
high
baby.
with all the boys, buddy. Congratulations. You and Scary Hours are the Caps Gaming Showcase champions from the North America division. We wish you good luck moving forward, my friend.
Thank you, and great job on the production, guys. Y'all were amazing all season, and really make it enjoyable. Especially, I'm about to go watch these VODs back. So, thank you guys as well.
Of course, we like to put on the best show possible for everyone out there, including yourself. So
Shout out
thank
to
you
my
very
mom.
much.
I think she was watching.
Yo, shout out to Kate mom. We gotta love the parents out there
Watching
supporting
for like
it.
3 hours, man. That's crazy.
Perfect. We love it, Kate Cut. Thank you
All
very
right,
much,
guys.
my friend. Have a great rest of
Thanks,
your
guys.
evening. Go celebrate with the boys.
Thanks, guys.
Great stuff. Shout out from his mom. That is the most wholesome thing I think I've ever seen, Brandon. When you're playing video games, you got the parents' support here at the Caps Gaming Showcase, presented by Leidos, powered by Leaguegaming. There's just nothing better, is there?
And I think that that's so cool because obviously it kind of goes to show you, obviously these guys are playing a game that's video games, and that's true, but you have to remember the amount of time and dedication and commitment that these guys put into this. You
Exactly.
could kind of hear it from K-Cut, how just truly happy he was. You could just sense that joy and almost sense of relief that they were able to come in here after a dominant season, a great postseason, and knock off a team in Olympia that really had created a dynasty for themselves the last year. It felt like since last season when they won the Caps Gaming Showcase in Season 2, they were just running house. They were winning tournament after tournament after tournament, winning trophies upon trophies. And for Scary Hours to come in here, as he mentioned, being a newer team, having two of the transfers from Vertigo when that team kind of dissolved, and then having the two players from BBB and Sitful and K-Cut come in, to be able to piece that all together and take down the top dogs in NA in their first Caps Gaming Showcase really does say a lot, especially for a team that, despite all that experience, was a little bit newer in terms of playing together as six. So congratulations to them, and it just kind of goes to show you, team, like we said, we might just be playing a game, but there is true emotions and true feelings and true passion that go behind it for all of these guys.
It's hard not to be proud of Scary Hours at this point here at the Caps Gaming Showcase, Brandon. I've got a lot of thank yous to give out as we round out the end of the show here. Obviously, a huge thank you to the Washington Capitals organization, the Caps Gaming Group, MSE, Scuff giving out a couple of controllers. We want to thank Zip Chair, obviously, very good stuff by them. Leidos, of course, Triss and Leaguegaming with their dynamic stat system, making this just so great. But most of all, I want to give a huge thank you to you, Brandon, and of course, Nick, F5 Penguin, DeMeo, and DeMeo Media Group behind the scenes for having me on here and allowing me to be a part of this amazing production with the Capitals. This has been an absolute blast, hasn't it, Brandon?
Yeah, this has been amazing. Truly a blessing and a great opportunity to be a part of this with you guys. And I think you kind of said it. Some of the work that everyone puts in behind the scenes, from everyone at Leaguegaming and Triss, the work they put in to do things like the dynamic stats that you've seen put across your screen throughout the season. From the production side of things, Nick, some of the work that he's put in behind the scenes, absolutely amazing. And obviously, everyone at Caps Gaming and our sponsors as well, to put their faith in everyone here to make this thing what it is, to run this tournament for a third straight season. Everyone at Caps Gaming deserves such a round of applause. Wouldn't be the same without them, and just to see NHL esports continuing to push the envelope year in and year out, so fun to see, and everyone at Caps Gaming a huge part of that. So I have to make sure to thank them as well, as it's been truly a great time and a lot of fun to be a part of this.
Been an absolute blessing, Brendan. We want to, so thank you to obviously MSC, the Washington Capitals, Caps Gaming, Scuff, Zip Chair, Leidos, Leaguegaming, Triss, and Nick DeMeo. Thank you guys very much. We will be back Saturday for the EU finals as well, as that will be at 1 p.m. Eastern time. Thank you guys very much. Have a great evening from everyone from Caps Gaming.